Hey everyone, and welcome to the latest episode of the Sonic Talk podcast. I am your host, Nuckles87. With me today is GX.
I have watched a lot of Dragon Ball.
And also, what's his name? Um, Biggs, Quigs, Shigs? Shigs? Is
I
that
believe
it?
it's Shigs.
Shakes the cat.
Okay.
I need to catch up on my Dragon Ball.
I technically also need to catch up on
I've
Daima specifically.
I've been watching. So
Yeah.
I watched Daima. I've been watching the subs because I need something to feel good about these days, and I have also watched. They actually showed the first, I think, 2 episodes of the dub in theaters.
Three. Three.
3 episodes. Okay, the first one felt longer than the second one. I don't know. Maybe it's a triple something or other. But yeah, it's pretty good so far. And then I basically was like, okay, I'm gonna get, I'm gonna see what I can do to get the complete original Dragon Ball series, the one that came before Z. And
Oh yeah, I got that all on DVD back in the days before it was all
I
on
got the
streaming.
entire. I recently got the entire manga box set.
oh, that seems like it'd take a lot of space.
I am
Not
never
not
getting.
the original's not that much.
Okay, fair enough, fair
Oh, the
enough.
Takes
original,
about two
I
feet of
guess.
space, maybe.
So I've been watching that. What have you guys been doing?
Well, I also actually just watched some Daima. I do appreciate what they are doing to make it to force Goku into an adventure series, a proper adventure series.
Like
It's
it,
all like
like Dragon Ball Super felt like a send off to Dragon Ball Z, but Dragon Ball Daima feels very much like a send off to the original Dragon Ball.
can I be honest?
Yeah,
This is what I thought Dragon Ball was going to be. I honestly found a good chunk of the original Dragon Ball to be kind of disappointing. But like, this feels more like a proper adventure with like decent stakes and solid humor. And again, as I was saying before, like I love how they're coming up with all of these ways to force them to just go on the goddamn road trip. Like go, they can't fly very far. They lost their spaceship. The air is heavy, and so like Goku can't fly far. He's weak, and
crud.
now he's exiled.
Crud. We made someone with godlike power. We need to negate all of their godlike powers, but still
Yes,
make them the
Pretty
biggest
much.
badass.
and I'm really enjoying the trip so far. I'm glad that they did all this because it's something I've been wanting Dragon Ball to go back to for a long time.
It's been
Well,
a while. I would say to me it feels like core adventure Dragon Ball has been like the Red Ribbon Army arc. That felt like the
that was the first arc I liked.
yeah, that feels like it's sort of found its feet, that we're through the fighting tournament stuff, and it's still goofy, but it does feel like it at least has a bit more stakes.
Yeah,
So I haven't
and
quite made it that far. I haven't even made it to the first summoning of Shenron yet in my rewatch, we'll say, but I'm getting there slowly but surely.
it's just weird seeing Goku like just fight grade B villains without just like I don't know obliterating half a mountain or something.
He did a lot of that in the original. Like he original
Yeah,
like
but and he hasn't really done that so far in this. It's like he's almost streak level right now.
like I said, this feels very much like a send up of the original. But that's honestly, if we want to say that's what I've been playing, like the only other thing I really have to talk about is like hey, I finished Breath of the Wild, or I'm sorry, Tears of the Kingdom.
Oh, neat. I need to get back to that.
Has a
Yeah, me
really
too.
solid ending. Has a really solid final fight thing.
Good.
As long as you have completed one of the core story elements, there is a phase in it that is very in line with something else you will do in the game that I was delighted by, even if it was not necessarily challenging. I don't know. I think that's just it for me. I've been watching a lot of Desert Bus for Hope charity events, and I played some UFO 50 before, but
And and did the Desert Bus deliver hope?
oh yeah, this was their most successful year to date, 1.2 million.
Oh, nice.
And they made it for an basically the way that their charity is structured is that they play the Sega CD game Penn and Teller Smoke and Mirrors, a game that was never actually released. But one of the mini games in it, it was sort of like a weird subversive mini game collection to play tricks on your friends, was a game that is supposed to basically push against the idea that video games are just brainless drivel, that here's the game that teaches you how to do something real. Drive a bus the actual calculated
Yeah.
distance from Tucson to Las Vegas on a straight road, a straight desert road with no features except for the occasional bug splat on the windshield or a bus stop with nobody there. And then if you make it all the way in 8 real-time hours, then you get 1 point, and then you turn around and drive the other way. And
Oh boy.
they play this game for as long as people give them money. And this year they were able to complete a full week going 24 hours a day.
Jesus.
And then they're a group of like volunteers and comedians and people like that they're basically just having conversations, doing challenges, doing giveaways, doing auctions, doing all this stuff to sort of encourage people to donate as they go through. But it's really fun. It's once again, it's Desert Bus for Hope. They do this every year, and you can catch a lot of their YouTube highlights on the YouTube and just kind of get a sense of what their vibe is. It's fun. It's fun because it was a good backdrop to me cleaning a kitchen from top to bottom throughout the entire week. But that's all I've got going on.
All right. Shigs, what have you been up to?
Well, I have been playing Dragon Age: The Veilguard, partially because it's gotten a lot of recommendations from different outlets, so they've been enjoying it. So that made me curious. And so far, so good. The story's pretty solid, which is I had to do a little bit of catch up because I never played really any of the other Dragon Age games long enough to really know who the characters are or anything.
Hmm.
And graphics wise, it's very very solid. And the story's decent. It's just they were trying to stop an old friend from removing this magical veil, which has been preventing most magic from coming out to the land. But if they do that, if
A-
the guy with Soros
And
did that,
Veilguard.
the Veil Guard, yeah, it brings a bunch of monsters and demons out, but they stop him. But it there's a mishap during it, and then two elven gods who are super evil come out. Now they got to stop them.
Hmm.
And my thing is the combat is the best I've ever played in an RPG, which is shocking, because it's very much real time combat, kind of similar to oh, what I'm thinking, like a demon sword type of thing, where you're having the not the very light version of that, where you could do light attacks and deeper attacks and hold it, but then they have to dodge when they're signaling when they're about to attack and such. Plus, it's all real time. It's not turn based at all when you're doing this action, and you can hold the R1 button to talk to your fellow teammates and have them do a particular action on enemies. Otherwise, they're just kind of on autopilot for the most part. And the gameplay section in that is so fun that the reverse thing of pretty much every other RPG happens here, where I think it feels like Yakuza, where there's a little too much story going on and there's too much talking, and I'd rather have more action and be stopped by more enemies rather than continuing on to the other area. I want to fight more in this game, which surprised me. So yeah, the like I said, the gameplay and the combat is excellent. Well, there's talking, there is dialogue trees you can do, and it's very simplified on how you can approach it. There's several different options of like sympathy or thumbs up is like how the game kind of wants you to follow direction. There's a laughing symbol to say if you want to joke or be sarcastic, or a guard with his arms crossed if you're wanting to say something serious or something that might,
So in the same
affect
way
somebody
that
else.
like a Mass Effect game would have given
Yeah,
you.
kinda like a Mass Effect, only I think it goes a little further than Mass Effect did.
Okay.
And you can get 2 relationships, and they make it really easy to know, "Hey, this is a relationship option," because if you choose this option, there's a big heart there to tell you, "Hey, okay, you're flirting with this person." So, yeah, and so you get very different reactions from all that, and, there's a lot of spoken dialogue in this game. I'm only like 3 or 4 hours into it, but still, it is got quite a bit going for it. And yeah, I've been really enjoying that one, and I highly recommend it if you like all RPGs. It's a very much a different kind of alternative to Baldur's Gate, where Baldur's Gate's very much a turn-based Dungeons and Dragons thing. This is similar in that you can form, romantic relationships and you have different dialogue trees and that, but at the same time they approach them in different styles.
Hmm.
Cool. I know it had a rough it had a rough reveal a while back, but it seems like people who are playing it are digging it quite a bit.
Yeah,
That's what I heard. It
I've
might have
been
been.
hearing positive stuff.
I heard it was originally planning to be like a free to play game or something on that approach,
Oh
and then they
boy.
nixed that.
I don't know. I thought people just got really weird about the style of its logo and what that said about what the game would be like, or the style of the
Oh,
characters, which I don't know.
people get nitpicky about that kind of stuff all the time.
Yeah.
Um, so the other things I've been playing are related, kind of related to each other. They're both from Digital Eclipse.
Ooh,
The
you
two
play
new,
Tetris.
yes, I played Tetris Forever and
Ooh.
the Atari 50 DLC, which is basically wrapping up the 50th anniversary Atari DLC altogether. I also I double dipped on that one and have the Switch Ultra Deluxe version, which has all the DLC right on the cart as well. The first part just basically goes into a few arcade games and 7800 games they missed originally, like Red Baron, which is actually an awesome game, and it's the precursor to Star Wars from Atari on that one, and some of the homebrew games that became official license, like Save Mary and such. And then the second one's all about the console wars between them and Intellivision. They don't have any actual Intellivision games. Instead, it's the M Network games that were basically Mattel doing as a third party putting Intellivision games onto Atari and how they approach that and stuff.
Huh.
It was a weird era during that time because you had competition from Atari, Coleco, and Mattel, and yet they would publish each other's titles on each other's systems
Yeah,
to make
like
to sell more
that is.
software, which you do not experience in uh, this kind of environment.
I mean, we are getting some Sony titles on Nintendo and Microsoft titles
Well,
on
I'm trying to think
Nintendo and
like
Sony.
I
uh
mean, there is the Lego Horizon on Nintendo Switch, and Microsoft is very much for sharing because Microsoft, let's face it, they're not really a hardware company anymore. They're staying with the software like they've always been before,
Hmm.
and they're slowly sharing their software with other systems because they want the Xbox to be on everything.
Well, they're kind of reorienting Xbox into more of a service model, and that's been something they've been working
Exactly.
on
Yeah.
for like years. Like I think before even the Series X, they've been pivoting Xbox Game Pass in that direction.
but
I mean, my one
I was gonna say even back then, there was just there was a looser interpretation of like making games versus maintaining a console, because even if we go back to thinking about, Sega, there's a version of Space Harrier on NES.
Oh yeah, both Sega and Atari like made games for Nintendo.
And hey, Nintendo
And
licensed
TurboGrafx.
Nintendo licensed out their arcade games for consoles like the Atari.
Yeah.
Given
Oh yeah,
that was before they
that was
had a
before the
console.
NES. Yeah,
Yeah.
and
Well,
yeah.
that was
Plus, it was
before they
at the
had
time
in the
where
US.
the licenses were still valid, even when because the Atari 7800 had Donkey Kong and Donkey Kong Jr. in it and that got published at the exact same time that the NES Donkey Kong and Donkey Kong Jr. were coming out because there was just licenses back there.
Now we live in an era where
I think with Sega and Space Harrier and stuff, I think that's because the Master System just did not take off, and they wanted some of that software money.
Oh,
Because I
Space
think
Harrier
from
was on
Genesis,
everything. Space Harrier is on
from
things that it
Genesis
should
on,
not be on.
yeah, from
Space
Genesis
Harrier and
on, that
Fantasy
you
Zone
don't
were on the
really see too much of
TurboGrafx.
that. Yeah. Anyway, and the other one is so if you haven't played Atari DLC, or Atari 50 is very much a documentary style with it's all. In fact, I'd say it's like a virtual museum. You've got constant documentaries about the making of Atari and the founding of it, all the different consoles through the ages, how they did behind the scenes, what went on. Plus, you get to play these games as they're discussing it. It's a great way to play them. That's what I'm doing with the next one I'm going to talk about. So I'd really recommend that. I'd recommend this other one, Tetris Forever, which is the same style of if it's a games collection plus a mini documentary where you're going chapter through chapter. Uh, there's talking with the creator Alexis. Let me bring up his name real quick because
Alexei
I do not
Pajitnov?
want to. Alexev, what is the name?
Pajitnov.
Pajitnov, yes. So they do interviews with him talking about his creation of the game. I'm not that far into it as far as the documentary stuff. I'm only into finish the first chapter of that, but even that's pretty uh, impressive about his history. He was a mathematician. He enjoyed puzzle games, and there's one that's uses that Tetramino style, but but also uses like 5 square lines, 6 square lines where you put them onto a little table, and it's like a jigsaw puzzle that can be reassembled and put together in like a million different ways. So, and it's still, and each time you play it, it's still a little tricky to put together, which is kind of interesting. And he took that idea and simplified the shapes to just be the 4 square shapes that we know today, and put them in a well. And originally, he just wanted everybody to try to fill the entire well with the shapes into one wall, but he found that wasn't enjoyable, so he made it so that once the lines filled up, then they disappeared for points, and then he found that's how it works best.
And thus God's perfect game was made.
Pretty much. And you get to try all the different versions of Tetris through the years. The one he originally did on his type of computer. There's an emulation of that. There's a MS-DOS emulation, an Apple II version. You're mentioning Hatris before the show. There's 3 different versions of Hatris on here. I think Hatris NES, Hatris Game Boy, and Hatris 2.
None of them are good. Hatris is not a good game. But
Yeah,
boy, is Tetris a good game.
Well,
there's several other versions of Tetris through the years, including original one that allows you to play Tetris, but the graphics change through the different time frames, which is kind of interesting.
That's cool. I don't know. I'm still happy with Tetris. Tetris Effect.
Oh, Tetris Effect is absolutely good. But if you want,
that's only Tetris I need.
If you want something a little bit more accurate than the Apple TV dramatization, this is probably going to be a better thing for this. I haven't really done a deep delve into any of them, but I really want to get into the all of these Gold Master Series games collections. They just look so fascinating.
Yeah, they are fascinating to go through and read and watch the videos and such. Besides just playing the games, it makes you appreciate those games, no matter how simple they are a bit more.
Yeah, yeah. I don't know. It sounds like it doesn't have columns though.
Well, no, it's a
So
good
that's kind of
game.
not
No,
as
uh,
good.
Look. I may not love Hatris. I may call Hatris a bad game. Hatris is still better than Columns.
let's see, you have Hatris Famicom, Hatris Game Boy, and Hatris NES, uh, and Bomb Bliss. Several different versions of Bomb Bliss.
So
The
is that
sequel to Tetris.
all you gotta say about Tetris Effect? About Tetris?
Yeah, because I have not. I've only done the first chapter of the documentary series, and I've just dabbled through the different versions of the games. I haven't gone through the entire thing.
Hmm. Okay.
Is there online for any of them?
I don't believe so. No.
Okay, because I know there's at least one big multiplayer Tetris that everyone always speaks to that I've never gotten to experience myself. Like
Tetris
Battle
99 on the.
No, Battle Tetris, something like that.
I'm not aware of that one.
I need to look this up now because it's gonna drive me nuts.
Okay. So for me, I haven't really been playing much in terms of like regular games these past couple of weeks. I have been like, I don't know, going just full deep into just mobile Sonic stuff, like most of which we'll be talking about later, like Sonic Dash, their latest tie-in, and Sonic and the Sonic Forces. But the big thing that I've been doing for the past 3 weeks or so has been Sonic Rumble. So technically it's not out in my region yet. I had to resort to some nefarious shenanigans in order to bypass that. I made myself an Australian iOS account, switched my iPad over to it, logged into the App Store, downloaded Sonic Rumble, did all the setup, and then moved back to my regular iOS account. And now I have have it on my iPad, and it's still a pain in the butt to like download it to new devices because I've got to repeat that whole process again.
So I remember my time with what's it called? Whatever, the mobile Puyo Puyo game. I forget what it was called. Puyo Puyo Quest, something like that. It was Japanese only, and I wanted to play it for almost every Sonic. And effectively, what it meant was I had to grab the app from one of those third-party distributors, and it meant that basically I could never update it automatically because it didn't come in through the Play Store. So I'm guessing that's what you're going through.
Basically, I did have to update it a couple days ago, and I had to then go switch my whole iPad back to the old account to go back to that app store to re-download it. So yeah. Oh, gosh darn it.
You're talking about
sorry,
Sonic Rumble.
Yes, sorry. A thing appeared on my iPad. But yeah, like I had to go through the whole thing again just to update it, and I'm hoping that by the time there's another update, it finally just launches in the US. I'm refusing to spend any money on it right now because I don't know if my current progress will carry over to the US launch.
So I'm okay. Yeah, that would be a very good question. So all we know right now from the roadmap is that they said that they would delete progress between the first regional release and the second regional release. We're currently in the second regional release,
Yeah.
but we don't have any
I
indication.
had to use Australia, by the way.
Yeah, we don't have any indication on when the stuff was the pre-registration. We just know that they're saying, hey, it's gonna be pre-registration's probably gonna be in the fall, and it's gonna go into winter for launch. But winter's many months.
Yeah.
Did they confirm that it's actually coming this calendar year?
I thought they said winter 2024, but it's not on the the things. It's not on their graphics. So I think they're keeping it intentionally vague. So I don't know. I think it's technically just winter sometime. My expectation would be that we are going to see it in December because I feel like they're going to try to tie it into the movie. And that's also when we're getting the DLC for
Oh no!
Sonic
Oh
and
no!
Shadow, and
Oh no! I'm queuing up a video that you sent me.
yes, because I want to talk about the economy in just a minute.
But I want to talk about how upset I am about Thanksgiving Sonic. I gotta put this up on screen. This is bad. This is so bad for a lot of reasons.
Yes, which we will be getting into in a minute. But I assume the top one is, oh hey, they dressed him up like a one of those Puritan colonizers.
Yeah.
Pilgrim. Whether
They also have a Pilgrim Chow, by the way.
Oh, don't
Which,
do this. Oh, I was having a discussion in I was having a discussion in another server in one of my other communities about like, hey, like Japan has a really weird relationship with Nobunaga Oda where he's sort of simultaneously beloved and despised for like historically who he was and what he has kind of been made into as a cultural figure. And my thought process is like, I can't think of like any real equivalents that we might have in our culture, to which someone replied, yeah, Christopher Columbus. And I was like, oh, yeah.
I mean, technically, we just have him
But
there
also-
for the Italians.
But also, yeah, well, we only celebrate Columbus Day because one of our presidents attempted to pander to the Italian vote, and that's the only reason why we celebrate him to this day. But also, like, this seems pretty upsetting to me. Anyhow, continue. I'm sorry to derail.
In any case, so I expect it'll launch in December. That is my personal expectation. So okay, gameplay. It's still fun. I'm actually having a better time than I did before. My least favorite mini game is gone, which makes me wonder if they've kind of realized, okay, this one is not working well. We're just gonna pull it. Which was the Frozen Factory team battle. But like so just on a purely gameplay level, it's just a very consistently fun multiplayer game. All of the run stages are fun. Most of the mini games are fun. It kind of almost like feels like a cross between, like, I guess Sonic R and I don't know, like maybe Mario Party. Like I would definitely qualify a bunch of the non-run stages as more mini games.
I hope it feels
like
better than Mario Party.
Then like I would classify any of the non-running stages as more like mini games than like proper platforming things. Because like you gotta knock balls into holes. You've gotta you've gotta like collect rings across various gimmicks, or like avoid or like run along a conveyor belt and avoid obstacles.
Do you spend a lot of time with multiplayer games like this?
No. So like the fact that it's grabbed me is probably is like a genuinely impressive feat, but that does mean that I don't have a lot of experience with stuff like this. So, you know,
Okay, because
I guess take
Mario
those two
Party
things
is a
as you
scary
will.
comparison to me.
Well, I mean Mario Party in the
No,
in the sense that they are mini games.
I get what you
not like
mean, but one of the most famous things about Mario Party is that it's a Mario game where none of the characters feel like Mario, including
well,
Mario.
well, like in this one, they all I wouldn't say they feel like Sonic because by and large they do move pretty slow, unless you like have the boost activated or like you hit like one of the speed
Like, what
gimmicks.
are we talking here? Are we talking like a Lost World control system, or like?
No. Like there's no run button. You run at a fairly slow speed.
Does it feel like there's any meaningful momentum to it, or does it feel
Yes,
like you
yes,
just get?
you do need momentum to make jumps and stuff.
But when I say momentum, I mean like, does it feel like it builds up to anything, or does it just feel like, well, you hit max speed, this is the speed that you go at?
Like I mean, like you will go fast when you like go down like slopes and stuff. But by and large, the speed is controlled by like hitting speed pads and stuff. And like during certain sections, you'll need to like hit multiple speed pads to keep your speed up.
I guess I sort of get that. I was hoping it was going to be something a little bit more, but no, I guess I get that. Unfortunately, it does kind of sound like the Mario Party discussion, so for better or
um,
worse.
but I will say that the platforming feels very good, and like the controls are very good, and that is surprising because I'm using a controller and like the game doesn't have still does not have like an interface properly built for a controller. You can't see it on the gameplay that GX is showing, but I have had to move all of the like touch controls into the corners of the screen to make them as non-visible as possible.
I am very suspicious right now that uh that this might not make PC at launch. I'm very suspicious that they won't be able to get that out at launch.
Honestly, my personal expectation is that the PC version is waiting for the US release.
I mean,
So,
obviously, if it is going to hit at launch, that's when it would hit. But
yeah.
considering that they've really haven't, considering that if they're not really making good headway on controller support for this, at least in
Well,
terms
like
of it, at least in terms of interface,
okay, I
then
was gonna say controllers do feel good.
then I'm kind of inclined to think that maybe the PC version was on the back burner. I don't know.
I don't know. I would just feel inclined to think that it was originally going to be a mobile game, and they decided to move it to PC after something they saw in the beta.
I
But
don't.
regardless,
No, obviously we get to take credit for that because
yes, yes.
we asked Izuka about, was like, well, it's like PC version of this would be.
Yeah, we're console, like no need to trap it on mobile.
We know that Sonic Team has the ear of our community all of the time. They listen to every recommendation, as they always listen to every Sonic fan recommendation, everyone that's ever been made.
Apparently, Takashi Iizuka actually watches what's the word? Actually watches Sam Procrastinate's reaction streams.
Oh, okay.
So who knows? Who knows what else they may be looking at?
Maybe he does listen.
Right.
Hey, Izuka, I'm sorry for everything I've ever said on this entire podcast.
But in any case, so I'm still having a lot of fun. My only real issue at this point in terms of the gameplay is that it does feel like the randomized stages kind of get stuck with certain ones every like gameplay session that I have with it. It doesn't feel truly randomized.
Okay, like it feels seated weird.
Yes, like I get Starlight Carnival so goddamn much, and in order to move along in the game's single player mode, which is the stage challenge mode, I need to be able to play Green Hill Run, and I did not get Green Hill Run for 2 whole weeks. I keep getting like Run 2, or I keep getting like the one I said before, or Pinball Highway, which is one of the new ones. But like that and Sky Sanctuary, I guess I barely saw that for two whole weeks. So yeah, like it does feel like they need to do a better job just randomizing what levels you get. But okay, so the game's fun, but there is an issue, and that issue is the economy. Now, GX, I did send you that video, so like if you want to like run it while I'm talking about it or whatever, you can. But the economy is like it's not good. It is. So if you just want the core characters, the regular skins, no frills, you can get those relatively easily without paying a dime, and that is what I have done. They are each 30,000 rings per character. Those are character fragments. We'll go into those things in a second. So like 30,000 rings per character, and you can get those after you can get 30,000 rings after like 1 or 2 days.
I'm gonna stop you for a second because I need you to explain something to me. Because unfortunately, I think I know the answer to this, and if it's the answer I think it is, it's gonna make me real mad. Can you explain to me what a fragment is?
Okay, well,
I can already feel what that is probably.
Is it like some sort of card?
You know the cards from Sonic Rush, from Sonic Dash?
UMFers!
Picture that, except you get them mostly like 1 or 2 at a time.
Oh,
or you get them
God.
in small batches for one-off in-game achievements.
We're there, baby. We're there. We are in peak free to play.
You can probably buy them just as easily.
No, here's the funny thing. You cannot buy these.
I'm assuming not yet.
Well, yeah, that could change, but at the moment, you cannot buy character fragments.
You gotta remember, this is still pretty much in beta, except for a few countries.
But like these aren't the only characters that work like this, by the way. Like there's also I forget Dancer Rouge, Acrobatic Rouge, something like that, who like you get her character chunks by moving through like various, I guess, I don't know, unlocking things in various parts of the game. And you can get like 10 or 20 or sometimes 30 at a time. I think I'm currently at like 250 out of 300 after 3 weeks of play. So I'm probably going to get her eventually, but it is taking a while. But okay, so yeah, so there is the character fragments, which you cannot buy, and you cannot grind. And you will be working towards for probably months in game.
Beautiful,
so,
perfect.
But in addition to that, you may have seen it earlier. There are also character skins that you can buy for red rings, but they are being sold currently on the shop for 999 red rings. That is how much Thanksgiving Sonic is, and that is how much Witch Rouge is. And these characters are ostensibly only available for a limited time. I have no idea how or if they will cycle back. I assume they'll cycle through in some capacity.
So,
but
so I kind of want to. So there's an economy that I don't obviously this is bad. This is not a
Oh, okay. So
pro-consumer
there's
economy.
also a $13 Chow Buddy in the store.
Oh, Christ. But I also kind of want to like highlight that. Okay, help me out here. What's the clip that you get red rings at? Is it reasonable?
Okay. No.
Okay.
Not for $999.
Well, so what are we talking about? Like in a day, if I play, I'm not sure what they expect you to do your dailies. It seems like a game that would have
You
a
do
lot of
not. There is
dailies.
no reliable way to grind out red rings. You get red rings through achievements, and you get them by completing the challenge stages, which you have to unlock by buying, but not by buying, by earning copper, silver, and gold badges.
Okay,
And
I would have expected it to be more like, hey, you get 5 for logging in 3 days in a row, or you get
nope,
really.
there is nothing like that. You get other things for doing stuff like that, but it's mostly for like for the first 7 days. For the first 7 days, I was eventually able to like unlock Tails and Golden Sonic. But and like you also get like there's like a mission mode that is chaotic themed that for the pre-launch that like gets you vector coins, and when you collect enough vector coins you're able to unlock a chest or something, and that gets you like these
Figured he'd
things that let you
be able to unlock Victor.
no, that's not how you unlock vector.
Okay, so okay, I want to twist this around. So
Yes.
obviously we've been talking about variants. If you want cosmetics for some of these characters or like specialty versions of them.
Yes, there's just no good way to get those.
Okay. What do you start with? Let's start with that. What do you start with in the game?
You start with man.
I'm guessing Sonic at least, but
yeah,
I don't
you start
know.
with Sonic.
How reasonable is it to just get a character? Like
Well, like I said before, it's pretty reasonable.
Okay.
Some of them are available. Some of them are available completely for free. Like I got Tails by logging in the next day. I forget how I got Shadow and Knuckles, but I got them pretty early. And but most of the characters you buy them with 30,000 rings. Now you can get 30,000 rings in about a day or two. Every day you do have a cap of how many rings you can earn through regular play, but in addition to those, you can also earn more rings through I forget what it's called. Through this, I do have the game open right here.
I'm guessing
you get more rings through the free part of the season pass, or through achievements, or through the or through the Chaotix mission mode, or through the Amy and Eggman mission modes, or through this thing called Ring Challenge, where you have to earn a certain amount of rings to advance. And once you get to the end, you like get a jackpot of rings that can be anywhere from like 6,000 to 30,000. And so all of that, like, it is reasonable for you to unlock a character a day, and that is basically what I ended up doing. And now, like, the only character I have yet to unlock is Zavik, which is by choice because I'm potentially saving him for like a future video or something. But like, by and large, if you want the regular characters, they're there, they're easy. In addition to that, if you don't mind spending some money, you get, as you advance through the game, you do get access to some fairly affordable bundles. Like in that video I showed you, like it showed some like some cheap bundles near the end that ranged from like 99 cents to $4, and those were like all of the Sonic Riders skins.
Okay, so
if you don't mind dropping a little bit of money, you can get those, which I do plan on doing once the game hits the US.
So it's a more straightforward, just pay money to get a thing instead of like.
Yes.
Okay, I think I might not have picked that up. I guess that seems fine. Like, for me, it's always going to be my economics on this are always just tell me what you want me to pay and then have me pay it and tell me what I'm getting out of it and just
This is why I
don't
like
fit too
Fortnite. Fortnite is very upfront about what you're getting, what you want,
Well,
no,
for me,
loot
sorry.
boxes or anything like that.
That is one thing I will say about this. There are no loot boxes, which I do appreciate.
Well, that's good.
But like basically, so remember those characters that cost 999 rings? Thanksgiving Sonic and Treasure Hunter Knuckles at the moment. If you want to just get those purely through red rings, there's no way to do that without spending money. And if you buy these
right.
purely through money, it's like $65.
Right,
per
but what I'm talking about is more a direct. It's the issue that mobile games have always had was they always try to obfuscate what things are worth
This
through.
game does not do that.
Well, no. I'm looking at it.
Oh.
It absolutely does. It obfuscates
Oh,
what
you mean the
things
red rings thing?
through its various versions of currencies. Like even this one, it seems to have at least two versions of currency: a ring and a red ring. And I'm guessing that you can buy. I'm guessing if I am a player and you can unconfirm this, like I'm guessing you could probably exchange like red rings for regular rings, a certain amount of them. Is that something they let you? If not, then I
No.
would be surprised if you can't just outright buy one or the other or both.
You cannot. You can only buy red rings.
Okay.
And red rings can only be used to get characters or to advance through the season pass.
Mm-hmm.
Ultimately, though, my big issue with this game's economy is that nothing here really feels worth the money. Like,
yeah,
the season pass, it's a pretty long season pass at least. Like it'll last, like this thing lasts like 2 months.
that's okay, but it does kind of put you on a schedule of like, well, I hope you continue to play this every day to get the value out of it.
I mean, I guess, but like, my big issue with it is that it's $10, and all you really get, aside from like all of the little gold medals and rings and keys and stuff, is you get a Sonic Halloween skin and like a and a Chow in a witch's hat, I think.
10
trying to locate
10 isn't the worst
that.
price for one of those, but I've
Boo Buddy.
gotcha. I've done like I may not play mobile games in the way that I used to, mostly by conscious choice, but when I did, I usually would go in for whatever subscription they wanted to offer me. 10's not the worst, but it's really not the best either. Like for 10
My
bucks.
big issue with $10 is that you don't get much for. Like,
Ah,
all I really care about are skins. I don't care about the keys. I don't care about the fruits. You know, like I guess I'm just interested in character skins, and you get one skin, one buddy, and while that's running, they will have another event that you have to also spend money on. The current Thanksgiving event started a couple days ago. It's going to run for 20 days, and you get a Thanksgiving chow, and you get a ruby cream, which is just cream, but she's got a ruby skin, which like I don't even know why you would buy that, because there's not much there. And who wants a skin as lazy as cream, but she doesn't have any, but her texturing is just ugly. Like I don't get it. The one thing I might spend money on outside of those character bundles I mentioned before is this $3 a month subscription called Rumble Plus that gets you 15
Of course, it
red
has
rings.
plus in the name.
Gets you 15 red rings
Everything's
a
plus.
month. It gets you 15 red rings a month. It doubles your ring limit and increases the rings you get from battles. And it also says an ad-free experience.
okay.
Because
That would be what I would go for. Because if there's anything that bugs me, it's having to deal with ads.
The game does not currently have involuntary ads, but I expect that it will get them by the time it launches in the
Yeah.
US.
So what does the voluntary ads get you? Because I can tell you, back whenever I did play the Sonic mobile games, I would watch the stupid ads because you'd be an idiot not to watch the stupid ads and double your whatever.
All
And
right, so
I
that's the
hated
last thing
it.
I'll probably discuss about the economy. Well, actually, is one more thing I should probably get into. But okay, so for voluntary ads, you can get access to one on the front screen gets you access to a claw machine, which gets you either rings or emote pieces or fruits or slot keys. Not all that important, but if you're like short on rings, that can help you a bit. There's also a voluntary ad for the claw machine where you can get more character pieces for Pyrex Shadow and Pyrex Sonic, or access to the many avatar skins. You get one free one, and then you get four that you need to do ads for.
Are avatar skins like piecemeal? Like, can you mix and match parts?
Nope. They are just complete standalone skins.
Okay.
And finally, you can also use it if you end up screwing. You can also use it if you end up screwing up the getting through the first stage. You will lose your boost. That gives you a speed boost at the start of the run of the run stage. You can use an ad to get that back. If you mess up on ring challenge, you can use an ad to get get back onto that. And at the end of a ring survival session, you can use an ad to significantly increase your green gems, which are how you advance through the season pass and the event thing.
I hate the sound of this already.
So it gets worse.
Oh, good.
So, but now this next part is more or less optional. You don't have to engage with it, but something I would recommend because it gives you a good source of rings. So you get a score on every level that you play, and in order to increase your score multipliers, you have to upgrade your character's various things. Like okay, so you have to upgrade a character skin in order to give them access to more emotes, which are these little animations that they can do. The emotes can be upgraded with slot keys that will boost various effects. It will they will, like, if you need to hit hit a certain number of springs for an 80 mission, it will give you like more points per spring that you hit.
Alex, question from the audience.
Yes.
This is very stupid. That is my question.
GX, you're not the audience. You can also upgrade your buddies.
What are we doing to upgrade our emotes? What?
Okay, Lexi, how do you upgrade your emotes?
What is an upgraded emote?
Well, okay,
I have never heard of that before.
You can upgrade the emote Dunno with 600 I forget what they're called. 600 character pieces, we'll call them.
To be clear, help me understand this first and foremost. There's no actual character progression in this. Like, anything that you're describing is purely cosmetic, right? Every character controls the same and plays the same?
Yes, this is purely for points, which the points help you advance through missions, and they help you get a higher score on stages, which gets you a higher grade in the stages, which gets you rings.
Okay. But okay, so where does upgrading, but what happens when you upgrade a buddy? Like,
okay, so when you upgrade a buddy with fruit, Chow fruit.
Okay.
And okay, so like Dark Chow gives you a bonus applied for successfully hitting enemies. If you upgrade from level 1 to successfully hitting opponents, other players. If you upgrade from level 1 to level 2, the bonus goes from 10% to 12%, with a max of 25%.
And these are like on your rewards, not for helping you win a thing, right?
Right.
Like on some level, I admire that they are willing to do something that is not pay to win in any way whatsoever. But on the other hand, this just sounds insane. It sounds like it sounds just like, okay, if we're not doing pay to win, then we need to come up with the most backwards ass way to handle cosmetics that you can possibly imagine.
The great news, though, is that depending on how engaged you get with this game, you can completely ignore this.
Oh,
Like,
I bet it's
reason
probably
why
one of the
I'm
ways that I'm
not-
going to be doing it. Except maybe I might pay them the $3 to never show me an ad. If you show me an ad, you get your butt deleted off my phone.
But yeah, like that's probably why I'm going to end up getting it, because the red rings aren't worth it. But recording on like Sonic Dash is pain in the butt enough as it is without having to deal with those ads. And so if I'm going to record gameplay from this, I don't need that between every single ring survival
How
mode.
easy is it to get Crystal Zavik?
He is I believe it's not that easy. Because it's 350,000 rings.
Okay, that's a lot of rings. Okay, so I have my Animal Crossing-esque end of game goal. Once you get Crystal Zavik, you have won the game. Because what other cosmetic would you actually need than Crystal Zavik?
Well, you get Crystal Amy.
And why would I want to downgrade like that? I could have Crystal Zavik.
And,
I don't understand.
So yeah, so that's the economy.
I believe in Crystal Zavik because I believe in me.
I believe you can get Crystal Zavik at the mall at one of those kiosks.
So Shigs, do you have any thoughts on all this?
Considering I haven't played it, I can't really say, but I am also a victim of that kind of currency thing, especially on Disney Speedstorm, which has gotten worse and just worse and worse over time. And I am shocked that I haven't left it yet.
Jason, just join me in my abandonment of the free-to-play model. Just join me in the liberation of playing things that you have paid for an entire game and not having to be trapped in a cycle of, well, did you play today and do your dailies?
I will say this: the game doesn't really punish you for not playing every day. Like,
that's something I can get behind with Star Wars Hunters. Star Wars Hunters, you unlock the character, and then everything else is just cosmetics. I don't feel the need or pressure to keep playing every day.
Yeah.
But so yeah, like the only reason why I've engaged in all of that character pieces, keys, slot stuff, whatever, upgrading all that crap is because it gets me rings, and I wanted to get a lot of rings to unlock a lot of characters and stuff, which is what I did.
Like Crystal Zavik.
Yeah, like Crystal Zavik. I guess he is going to be my goal once
like you're just gonna load into the game let's say a month after release, and just everybody is going to be playing with Crystal Zavik because it's the obvious ultimate choice. What else would you go for?
So I guess I was going to say one more thing to end this off.
Is it that Crystal Zavik is the character that will be appearing at the end of Sonic 3?
No, that's Universe Salamander. Have you not been paying attention to me?
Well, what about Crystal Universe Salamander?
Yeah. I guess he could be Crystal Universe Salamander.
It's like Universe Salamander, except we've wiped any trace of recognizability from it, and he just looks like a shiny blue lump.
But like, I really hope that once the game hits the US, it gives you a way of getting red rings like in game without having to spend a lot of money, because that, or they just make these characters cheaper, because like there is literally no way to earn your way to 999 rings. Like, I added up everything I can see I can see right now. Like to do it without spending money, like I have to hope that those achievements for red rings keep going, because otherwise there's literally just not enough in the game.
What's the scale like for money to red ring? Like, what would 999 cost you?
Let's see. Oh yeah, it's about $65.
I'm not surprised. That is kind of the scale that mobile games work at for these kind of chase rares. But it still sucks.
Yes, it does. So the most expensive red ring bundle is 1,700 red rings for $999.99.
Cool. Best value.
All right. So that's all I have to say about Sonic Rumble. It felt great to get that off my chest because fun game, crap economy.
Don't worry. We'll get to be talking about it soon enough.
Oh yeah.
I really hope that they change some of this stuff before the U.S. release and don't just slap mandatory ads on top of all of this. Please moderate this a bit. Come on, I'm begging you, Sega. Thankfully, I don't care that much about those skins. I'm just not going to buy the season passes at this point.
Nintendo has on multiple occasions, I believe, I'm trying to remember the exact name of the game, but they worked with a third-party studio to publish a mobile title, and they actively and the mobile developers were right there ready to say, yeah, we could put a lot of these economic hooks in there. And as the story goes, Nintendo actually told them, no, we think you should probably tone this down a bit. Like, we don't want to go that far. And I don't know.
Oh,
like,
God.
like I will tell you,
more companies need to do that.
I will tell you. I don't play it myself, but I hang out with a lot of people who do. Fire Emblem Heroes is still going, which is uncommon for a mobile game to live that long. And a lot of people who are very happy with it, and some who do pay money, all kind of admit, like, yeah, they give you a lot of free pulls in that. Like, you're not hungry for free stuff, but also, the game is really appealing for what they offer you. So, I don't know.
All right. Well, all I know is I'm probably just gonna play the game with all the base characters and ignore most of the skins.
Yeah.
Moving on to proper news, and this is news that we skipped from last show, so this does go back a bit. So our first news item: King Ice has returned with new Sonic jewelry, and I'm sure GX is absolutely
It's my favorite Sonic character.
So we got Blaze, we got Crystal Blaze head, a Crystal Silver head, a Crystal Super Silver head, and a Crystal Metal Sonic head, and
yeah, they look like crap. They look like crap. Like, what do you want me to say? They look like crap. All the King Ice stuff looks like cheap, crappy garbage, and these are no different.
Shigs,
are your Blaze bling? Have your Blaze bling with you.
I admit, I just don't understand the market for these, and I guess they've done well enough for them to make more.
Look, if you were wearing one of these in public, I would feel compelled. Like, it's not that I would even want to, but I would feel compelled to shove you down and steal your lunch money.
I would feel like such a dork if I was wearing one of these
Go to
in
a Sonic
public.
convention. So we know the value of silver. We know the value of gold, but what's the value of silver? Is gold and silver?
I've got to imagine it's the same. If you're asking a serious question.
No, I'm joking, because you got super silver here.
But what if it was on fire?
Silver.
But
I don't know, Blaze.
what I'm waiting for at this point is I'm waiting for them to do a mobile game tie-in. Like, can you imagine King Ice?
Oh my God! Don't say that.
Kings.
Oh. Why would you put that into the world?
Because I think it would be hilarious.
Okay, you know what? It would be. I can't deny it. It would be hilarious. This is how we get Crystal Zavik. You can only unlock him by buying the ugly pendant. Oh, that's.
I mean, these things are $150 a pop.
Yeah, they're. I mean, look, King Ice is the company that brought us. Hey, do you want pendants based on the Looney Tunes characters via their appearance in the recent Space Jam sequel? And the answer is no, nobody wants Sylvester the Cat. That's why he's on eternal clearance. Why did you make this?
Well, I guess someone likes Sylvester out there. I don't know, like they're staying in business. They must be doing something right.
Oh,
Unless it's like a money laundering company.
it could be that. I would I will say that is not an official statement. This is merely a joke to make sure that we specify.
Yes,
but
this is a joke, and we are talking and by the way, we are also not speaking for Sonic Stadium as we talk about it. Don't blame Dread for what we're saying.
The cooler Sonic show over in YouTube chat says King Ice wishes they could replicate the success of the Silver the Hedgehog crucifix necklace worn by Pete Capella. I would say what they actually need to be doing is they need to create, and this is a thing that I have seen on Etsy and on Thingiverse, that you could 3D print yourself. You can get your own Waluigi crucifix if you would like, and I encourage you to do so.
Ooh, please tell me Waluigi is like Jesus Christ on the cross. Please tell me that.
Oh yeah, he's hanging up on the cross, just like
oh God,
just like the good Lord
for your sins.
Now that is a King Ice product I would purchase, just because it would confound and upset anyone that I meet.
Okay, so moving on. There we also got some Lego leaks for Metal Sonic. Metal Sonic versus
Metal
Sonic,
Cyclone,
right?
Yeah, Metal Sonic is the least important part of that set.
Yeah, like the Cyclone finally has merchandise.
It does. Well, it's great because not only do we have the Eggman Walker from a previous set, but the Cyclone looks pretty good.
Yeah,
that does.
Like
I keep saying, I'm gonna get a Lego set. But it has to be the specific thing. And god damn it, this kind of makes me want to get more than one now.
It was certain like the two. Look, the Sonic sets are fine, but I have always had a particular affinity specifically for like, hey, can I make like a really cool Lego car or vehicle or plane or something? And there's some okay ones in the Sonic line. Like the Tornado's fine. I kind of would like something a little bit more detailed, but I get what they're going for. The Cyclone is like, this is the stuff that I want to see more of. Like something that attempts to replicate something that actually exists, that can move and articulate and do things.
So we got the Cyclone, we got an Eggman mech, but we've also got a Knuckles mech.
Yeah.
Oh man.
As Knuckles is supposed to have. It's not my fault that the games didn't give him a mech. Lego is merely correcting a mistake that Sonic team has made.
I actually have that set. I haven't built the Knuckles mech yet. I just have the Rouge with the Master Emerald, and I'm waiting on purchasing the Shrine. Maybe I might put that on my Christmas list. But I definitely want the Master Emerald and Shrine together.
You could make a crazy scene with those two sets.
Look, they should. Yep. All I can say is they should not have released that weird Shadow Bust Lego set, They should have released a Lego set of Shadow in that weird jumping walker from the 2005 game. That's what the people want. The people want robot suits.
Man, I completely forgot about that. Still not as cool as the Biolizard
Shadow
one,
Bust
though.
is so dang ugly.
Biolizard's pretty alright. Oh,
I need a proper Biolizard toy.
I don't. So I follow some Lego blogs, like news blogs, mostly just for news, but I occasionally like check out reviews. Most of the reviews are like, this is how it looks whenever you put it together. And then just give vague opinions. The Shadow one was the only one I've ever seen that was like, I don't know why this exists. It doesn't look good. It doesn't seem like it holds together well.
So, Shigs, any thoughts on this particular Lego set?
Oh, I'm getting it for sure. That's
Uh,
and since it's just one vehicle and one character, it shouldn't cost too much. It's only $29.99 US dollars. That's not too bad.
hmm.
I,
Any
but for a mech,
future
for a mech and a figure, I think it should be more like 20.
any future
Whatever.
ones that you want to see?
Oh God, that's
Ooh.
hard to say right off the bat.
Okay. So, I don't. You know me. I don't love Shadow, and I don't love supporting the the various media that he's in, unless it's Sonic Prime.
Because you're a monster.
Yes, I am the monster. But well, number one, give me a brick build Omega. Give me a brick built Omega.
Ooh,
Give me a brick
that'd be
built
cool.
Omega, but also give me that weird spinny spaceship thing that Gun has, that Shadow fights in the one boss fight in the 2005 game. The one that people were going crazy for whenever it appeared in Dark Beginnings.
Give me
Blaze.
Go on.
I was gonna say, give me Blazing Marine with a little boat from Sonic Rush
Oh,
Adventure.
oh man. What
Well,
if they
that
never
would be good.
released that dumb Tails boat and that was just a Blazing Marine boat? That would have been so much better.
A perfect chaos set.
You wouldn't even have to have Marine. You'd just have Blaze there and be like, yeah, I get it. I understand.
Brick built perfect chaos, but the jaw moves.
I'm trying to think of how you would do that. I don't think you could go full clear piece. That's too many clear pieces. But you probably could just make like a convincing light blue design. But also there are better, cooler versions of Chaos than Perfect Chaos. Like Chaos Zero is just good on his own.
Yeah, like, but for me, like that would be the coolest one to see in Lego form.
I think I do have one of the bootleg Chaos Zero figures already, so I don't know. I'm good already.
Speaking of characters I want toys of, Trip is getting her
Crystal
first...
Zavik.
Oh, right. Man, I completely messed this up. This is not... Oh, yeah, Trip is getting her first toy and her first comic appearance. I forgot I merged those two things.
Yeah. Trip is a character now by way of Sega's licensing agreements, I suppose.
Yep. And I'm looking forward to that. I want to get...
She still needs a Great Eastern Entertainment plush to go alongside such characters as Dodonpa and I guess the two Zenny. Zeddy?
The two Zeddy, yes.
Oh my God! I was helping my sister-in-law at the KomoriCon, which is the Portland anime convention, and one guy had a whole bunch of Sonic plushes on his table, including and they were official, including a large Merle. I can never get his name right. Gemerl, yeah, and a fairly large Big the Cat. I didn't even know they made a Gemerl, not much less one that was like a foot tall.
Oh, their choices are weird.
Yeah,
like
I love them.
They are in prime. Hey, you want to sell something at an anime con that a lot of real freaks are going to be into?
Infinite.
I got the hookup.
Mephiles. Um, my big question for Trip is she going to have the helmet or not?
Well, unfortunately, she is in the classic series, so she cannot respond to you unless it's in comic book form.
Like, I guess for the action figure, they can make the helmet removable, but for a potential plush, like they would have to make a decision. I think I'd prefer without it.
I think I want to see it with, just because I think that's a more interesting design. Like the mechanics of actually building that helmet in plush form, I think would be fascinating.
Yeah, like I imagine they'd make it out of the same material as Whisper's mask, except cover the whole head with it.
I would hope it's nicer than that, because Whisper's mask is just a single piece of fabric.
Yeah. I don't know. I don't know anything about plushies.
I have learned to sew some basic things.
But she's also
You've
appearing in
followed
the
that.
Knuckles 30th anniversary comic, which comes out in 4 days. So we will finally like get to hear her, not hear her, read her dialogue.
Sure. Is that something that you were excited about?
No, but I am
Okay.
just glad to see her coming appearing in media.
Okay.
Um,
You know, everyone complains about why aren't they putting this, why aren't I getting a game about this character or that character? And it's like, well, they keep adding new ones. Like, you can't just add new ones and then also bring back all of the old ones.
they need to make a Chaotix game.
Why? Who
Why
wants a
not?
chaotic? Because nobody would want it, that aside from you and like die-hard Sonic fans.
Yeah, exactly.
I could have a Phoenix Wright type detective mystery game.
That's
Yes.
probably the scale that you would make it at. Like, you could probably make the Chaotix visual novel and get some attention from it. I don't think you would make the console game Chaotix game and get anything meaningful out of it. But if you want to do another Murder of Sonic the Hedgehog with Chaotix, sure, I'm all for it.
So moving on. Sonic Team wants to continue supporting lower spec consoles. Um, Now, Azuka said this in the context of the PS5 Pro, but like it sounds like they're not going to be moving on from the previous generation anytime soon.
Yeah, I mean, they
Makes sense.
look. Yeah, I wanna highlight this, because this is a conversation I've had in our Discord every so often. I want to emphasize the point that anytime a new Yakuza game comes out, it still releases on PS4. Like,
That is wild.
yeah, yeah,
Like this reminds me of how Persona 5 launched on PS3
yep, sure did,
in like 2017.
sure
Like,
did.
companies have just been getting more and more hesitant to abandon old hardware with a big user base, and I don't blame them.
Say, the thing is, like, Sega's not even as big as Capcom, if we're being real. Capcom's looking towards the next generation of hardware as the standard. Absolutely, they are. But Sega's got to be economic with their choices, and considering where the audience is, especially in Japan, it makes a
The
lot of
audience is on
sense.
Switch and
Gonna
PS4.
see a
Those are the
Sonic
consoles that have sold
exclusive
the
on
most.
PS5 Pro anytime soon.
Yeah, like I don't. Despite the fact that Sonic and Shadow Generations sold very well on PlayStation above other platforms, I should say, and a lot of that has to do with, how Sony positioned their marketing for it. They can't abandon like low specification systems, like anything from like PC to, Switch.
Yeah.
because they sold a lot of copies of Frontiers on Switch. And that's probably not the best console to play it on, but you know what console a lot of people have? The Switch.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Switch, PS4, PC, these are the platforms where people are. And so, like,
I like
you
how
can
we've
really do
implied here
either.
that nobody is on Xbox.
Well, yeah, like,
Hey, I'm on Xbox.
I am also
like,
on Xbox, but
the Xbox, I'm on Xbox, but the Xbox One sold, like, what, 55 million units or something like that? Like, it's certainly there, but like
I
it
think.
acts like half of the
Well,
user base of Switch
well, you're in luck
or
because
PS4.
everything's an Xbox apparently. Oh, have you
Yeah.
have you seen that ad? Or have you seen that marketing push that they've had of
Yeah,
everything's an
it's based.
Xbox?
As I understand, it's basically like advertising their cloud service things
It
and
is,
such.
but it's also really stupid. It's
This is
also
a cat box.
oh,
Wake up,
it's
brother.
yeah, it's
So,
weird.
continuing with our old console discussion, a Little Big Planet 3 and the Sonic DLC for it
Oh,
were delisted last
you know
month.
what? Let's just go ahead and group all of our delisting stories in one
Oh yeah.
because there's a lot of stuff that is either on the path to getting nuked or has already gotten nuked.
Right.
But for Little Big Planet 3, I meant to like get it in the Sonic DLC, but it was happening at the end of October, and I was just occupied, and I completely forgot. And now I'm like, oh well.
I got that stuff like quite a while ago. So I don't know. I
But
have that
You're still safe if it was purchased, correct?
oh
oh
yeah,
yeah,
like
yeah, yeah.
it's just delisted for purchase.
Yeah. Like
You
they're
know,
like
that's how digital delisting works.
well, I mean what they're going through is Little Big Planet has had moderation issues for a long time. Like they've been slowly having to remove the older games just because they're getting hit with like hackers hitting the systems and people connecting to like, "Oh, this level's going to do weird things to your PlayStation now." So that's a problem. And it was just mounting worse and worse, and of course Little Big Planet itself is becoming like less a priority for Sony as a, as a franchise that
Yeah, like
eventually
they haven't made a new one in a long time now.
well, the last one that it was I guess the last one that was involving the character would have been
Sackboy's Big
Sackboy,
Adventure.
and that was made by that wasn't even made by the team of the original Media Molecule. That was made by the All Stars Racing
Sumo Digital.
Sumo Digital. So already like
Pretty solid game too.
yeah, and by then like they had moved on to Dreams, though Dreams doesn't sound like it's hitting anything big right now, so
I mean, Dreams is an interesting piece of software, but like, unless you basically you either play because you want to build a game or because you want to play what other people make.
it's
I
just
know you guys do Sonic Amateur Games Expo, but if you want to play some pretty solid Sonic Amateur games, they're on there.
Yeah, like I was playing a bunch a year or so ago.
I think the tough part is actual game engines these days are getting more and more accessible.
True, yeah, like you got Roblox, of course, you've got Unity. Those are
Yeah,
the only ones I'm aware of.
that's kind of what I'm thinking is like, well, even Unreal Engine people are able to throw stuff together in a
Huh.
fairly straightforward way
Oh,
these days.
I guess you could do acid flip stuff.
Oh yeah. But I think you hit the nail on the head. Like the people who probably would have gotten big into Dreams have probably moved on to something like Roblox.
Hmm.
So I don't
But
know.
so moving on to other delistings, we have Sega delisting a lot of old games,
A
primarily
weird
on
selection
PC,
of them. So
but
okay.
also other consoles.
So okay, what we're looking at here is basically anything that was under the umbrella of the Genesis. What is it called? The Genesis. It wasn't the Genesis collection, was it?
I honestly don't know.
It was Sega Genesis Classics or Mega Drive Classics if you're in a
Right.
Mega Drive territory, and
Yeah.
effectively, hey, they released this emulator with these games like a long time ago. This is a very
Yeah,
old emulator at this point,
this is
and
one where it makes a lot of sense for it
what?
to go.
So,
Well, only if they're replacing it.
okay, so yeah, basically any of their classic Genesis games that used that particular Genesis Classics emulator or emulator shell, that's all going to be delisted next month. You still have an opportunity to get it. It's gonna be gone from Steam. It's gonna be gone from Switch. It's gonna be gone from PlayStation and Xbox. It's gonna be gone.
Yeah.
Things that will not be touched are anything that was one of the Sega Ages M2 ports. Those, as far as we know, are pretty safe. Also, we don't it. We think that the Nintendo Switch Online Genesis games will be okay.
Yeah, they haven't said anything about those.
They have said they have odd phrasing in it that says like a selection of these will still be available, which a selection's not the complete library, but it could have just been semantics. We don't actually know. But hey, if you want those, get them sooner rather than later. The thing that people are estimating, and I think that you speculated on Twitter the other day, was basically that like, hey, when by the time that these get delisted, that will be very, very close to the Game Awards, and
Yeah, like less than a week.
And Sega historically tends to have at least something to reveal over at the Game Awards. As last year they had the Power something set of they announced a bunch of like, hey,
They announced Jet Set Radio, Crazy Taxi, Shinobi, and Streaks of Rage. Notably, some of these are having their past iterations delisted here.
yeah, like aside from the Genesis games, we're also looking at things that Sega has deemed to be part of like a Dreamcast collection, which I guess Knights is a Dreamcast game now, according to Sega.
Yeah, that's annoyed me for a while. It's a Knights, Jet Set Radio, Crazy Taxi.
And a weird situation where on Xbox
Sega Bass Fishing.
Yeah, Sega Bass Fishing. And Space Channel 5 Part 2.
Yeah.
However, on Xbox, we are also losing Sonic the Fighters. As someone in the Discord pointed out, though, they did not say anything about delisting Fighting Vipers.
Yeah, it's not in there. Just Sonic the Fighters and Virtual Fighter 2.
And even Virtual Fighter 2, I'm assuming that's the Genesis version.
Oh, yeah, I forget that exists.
Yeah, because that was part of the Genesis collection. But what was not part of this delisting is Sonic Adventure or Sonic Adventure 2. And these seem like things that would... And Sonic Adventure was literally listed with this whole Dreamcast collection push.
Yeah.
So it's unclear... It's unclear what exactly they're planning on doing with this.
My expectation is that like they're like, okay, so I guess this is a good time to go into the delistings that are happening for Sonic, which is Sonic Adventure 1 and 2 in Germany and what was it? Italy? Yeah, Germany and Italy.
I think so, yeah.
For Xbox and PC. And what I'm starting to think is that Sega, like, these are all just kind of strategic delistings, and they're holding off on on like these two bigger games until like they actually announce whatever they've got planned.
Yeah,
Because otherwise, this is just a weird move.
I would imagine they would want to have Sonic Adventure and Sonic Adventure 2 on shelves on shelf. Ugh, no. Available to purchase in some way, shape, or form when that movie comes out.
Yeah.
Having Sonic Adventure 2 available to download would be a good idea when that movie comes out. I am saying this as a marketing expert, sure. I'm a marketing expert now. But the tough part for me is, number one, I'm not willing to give Sega the benefit of the doubt that they will put all of these things, yes, back onto some other format. Like, I trust that they will 100% make, like, hey, do you want to play Sonic Spinball? We'll make sure you have a way to play Sonic Spinball in the future. Do you want to play Streets of Rage? We'll get you Streets of Rage.
I would personally worry about Jet Set Radio.
Jet Set Radio would probably be a tougher one. But
my only sorry, go on.
Yeah, but yeah, like the struggle with this is, like, they're delisting a lot of things, and I would hope that this means that we get better versions or better emulated versions, because Lord knows we've needed better emulation of these games for a long time. That their Genesis emulator is acceptable, but not great.
Yeah, it's not like M2 quality.
No.
Now, so specifically what they are delisting is the Genesis Classic Bundle, the Dreamcast Collection Bundle, and also standalone the Sega Genesis Classics Collection, which is a different compilation that they released some years ago.
I'm a little shocked on that one.
Yeah, that is one thing that tells me that they have to have something coming, because, like, you don't clear house like this unless you have some new software in the pipeline.
We would hope, at least. Sometimes Sega's
if
just
that's not the case, then this is a really stupid thing that they're doing.
But I mean, I'm just sitting here thinking, regardless of it, it's really stupid anyway. At least whenever... The issue I have is, unless they're doing something where, like, oh, if you bought these games, you'll already get the other versions in the upgraded format. When they delisted the games associated with Sonic Generations and Sonic Origins, we at least knew that the replacement version existed before. Now, you can argue whether Sonic Generations is a valid replacement for the existing, options out there. I would say it probably isn't, but I get the marketing reasons why you might. But I mean, I don't trust that. Like, this feels so wide of a... I'm gonna call it an attack. It's not an attack, but I'm gonna call it an attack just because it gets to, like, what the point I'm making is. It just feels so wide of an attack on the games that I don't think everything would come back. Like, there should be a way to play Sega Bass Fishing in 2025. But do I trust modern Sega to realize, like, oh, we should have Sega Bass Fishing on a modern platform? No, I don't trust them to do that at all.
By and large, like, by and large, my big worry is only, like, okay, like, what licensing issues may come up with any of these. Like, usually I would associate a delisting with licensing issues, and of course, it's very possible that they're delisting all of this stuff en masse because they have something coming, but they're not willing to relicense all of the stuff that they need to.
Well, we
get
know
back out there.
they made crazy. They made new worse music for Crazy Taxi so that they
They
Oh,
could
did
sell
do
it.
I
that,
hate it.
so I'm not worried about
Yeah.
that. But Jet Set Radio is an obvious one, and I don't know what other rights issues the other games might have.
I
Like
think I think I've heard
one
people speculate that of all the content that they bothered to change in the Sonic side of Sonic X Shadow Generations, I
yeah,
think one of the few things was that they removed one of the Sonic Rush tracks, music
yeah.
tracks, and people, I don't know if this is true. This is just speculation that I'm hearing that they might not have
Yeah.
been able to clear one of the samples or something. I don't
I
know.
mean, as I understand it, they should own that. Like the composer who made that, the reason the one thing they've stated recently is that the music I've done in the past I don't own. I don't want to work on any new stuff
Like I said,
unless I can own it.
we're not talking about compositions. We're talking about samples, which
Right.
Oh, samples, right?
yeah,
Okay, so it's
Yeah, and if
possible
he
that like the
did this
Sonic Red track
particular sample,
may have samples that
it
Sega
might
doesn't
not.
own.
like
Huh.
Hideki Naganuma, regardless of how you feel about him, and I sure have some complex feelings, a lot of his music is heavily sample based, and there are still laws around sampling. So,
Hmm.
Yeah, I mean, I've seen a little large YouTube about showing off some of his sampling work. He's sampled, intros from an anime. He sampled bits from Looney Tunes, like "Go ahead and scratch me" is a popular one, and that's based on this bulldog who's taunting Sylvester the cat, and there's a actual panther in the wild. So when he says "Go ahead and scratch me," he doesn't see the panther actually scratch him into like little
yeah.
bits, and
Which,
Hmm.
like,
so yeah, and it's dialogue from a copyrighted work, so
that's
I can see
certainly
where
not, like,
something like
that's not,
that.
that has nothing to do with how I feel complex about Naganuma. It has to more do with his online personas that he's invented. But,
Ah,
but, but yeah, sampling is very valid, but it does come with, some of that. I don't know how we got
well,
here.
I
I
don't know
don't know
anything
where
of
we're
any of
getting
that.
out of it. Let's,
Anyway, so like, I don't think there's much else to say about the delistings. Hopefully, Sega has plans to get all this stuff back. I think that being fearful that we're not getting everything back is valid. Like, but I would expect we'll probably see at least like maybe 80% come back in some form. At the very least, we gotta be getting stuff back that Sega is making new games for.
look,
Like,
look,
otherwise, ugh.
look, I am very glad that we have a, well, I shouldn't say I'm very glad. I'm very of the belief that we need to have a Sonic Adventure 2 available to purchase when this movie comes out. As I said before, I am
Yes,
also
yeah,
very much of the belief that we desperately need new versions of those two games
yes,
beyond
please,
the
yes.
current
And no
emulated
matter
version.
how loose it is an adaptation of Sonic 2 in many forms.
They could okay, they could directly port that game from a Dreamcast, making no meaningful upgrades, and it would be a better version than what is currently out there.
Which that is insane to me because I knew Sonic Adventure had a bad port, but it wasn't until recently that I learned that like they messed up stuff with the GameCube port of that game too, like how grinding works. And now that I've played it on my I've been playing it on my Dreamcast, and I'm like, wow, this does actually control better. It's like, jeez, like the newer ports did kind of color my memory of those two games in a negative way.
Yeah,
So like
yeah.
if Sega really should just shadow drop, like just emulate versions of those two
Oh,
games on all platforms
like
at the Game Awards.
obviously, if they haven't actually made them, they can't shadow drop anything, but that would be a heck of a thing to shadow drop alongside like the Game Awards saying like, "Hey, we got this movie coming up. What if you could play the original game?"
Oh God, but Sega's never done anything that cool, so I'm not going to expect it.
It's a remake in the Frontiers engine.
Oh,
Oh, I'm definitely not expecting that. I'm just
no,
talking
I'm
about
not
Dreamcast
expecting that
emulation,
either.
kid.
No, I'm joking.
No, dude.
Anyway, so moving on, the Chow starred in a new manga, I guess, written by Ian Flynn. I'm not quite sure if how this is a manga. I guess kind of seems like a webcomic, but whatever.
I believe it was
Webcomic
just.
with several things.
I believe it was made by a Japanese artist.
Really?
I
Okay,
believe
I didn't
so.
know that.
I think so, and I believe it's read in the proper
It
manga
is read
direction.
in the manga style.
Yeah.
Sure.
It has no
Anyway.
it has no text, so you don't have to worry about translation. But it's just a cute little thing.
Yeah.
Someone on the the message boards posted it along the lines of like volume or part 1 is out now. It's like, no, this is the whole comic, my dude.
Yeah, like I remember thinking like, wait, did they say this was multiple parts? Because it does feel like it
Nope.
ends on a bit of a cliffhanger.
No, the cliffhanger is go play the game. That's the cliffhanger.
Yep. But it's adorable. Even despite what some people were saying,
Yeah, it's cute.
does actually have a little story. You know, we get to kind of see Shadow Chow and Sonic Chow go on a little adventure and have I don't know. I guess we get to see Shadow Chow become a bit of a hero or something.
Shadow Chow has more character development in this manga than Shadow does in Sonic X Shadow Generations. There, I said it. There, I said it.
And he actually like makes friends with Sonic, and they run off holding hands.
This version, this Shadow approximation, actually meaningfully engaged with another character that wasn't a dead girl.
Shigs, did you take a look at it?
Yeah, it's pretty cute.
I vote that we should replace Shadow the character with this Chow.
Not edgy enough.
In all future, he can ride a motorcycle. There, I fixed it. Congrats, praise me.
Also needs a gun.
Sure, I would watch. I would play a game where a Chow has a gun. Sure, I'm into this. I'm into this idea where we replace Shadow with a more charismatic character who has all of his stupid accoutrement, but also it's funny. You know what else is funny?
What else is funny?
Why are there Beyblades in 2024?
Apparently, some franchises
just
don't die. Shigs, are you trying to say something?
I said, ask my nephew. He loves them.
Yeah, there's some really weird synchronicity going on with this because Sonic has a collaboration, and during Desert Bus, every day they were running a Beyblade tournament. Now, these are people who don't actually care that much about Beyblades, but then grew to like, oh, this is actually pretty cool watching these tops do their thing. And then, during the run, a new Beyblade video game was launched on PC. What is going on?
I guess they're trying to relaunch Beyblade.
I think what we're doing, I think we're just hitting that nostalgia point where it's like, oh, this was popular.
It hasn't actually left the toy stores or anything. Pardon me.
Oh, sure. Yeah, I get that, but it hasn't been in this. It's weird that it's just so that it's all happening all at once for some reason. Like, it has to be like we're hitting the nostalgia age for this toy specifically.
I guess. I don't know. I have seen people talking about it a little more lately, but all I know is like in Sonic Dash, you the tie-in is you collect 4 different Beyblades on the track, and then you get like a daily reward. Speaking of spinning battles, SEGA has filed a trademark for Sonic Spin Battle alongside a refiled trademark for Sonic Jump. I wonder if
that again, going to the only words that the Sonic franchise knows how to put together into a into a working title includes the word battle. Sometimes it includes the word spin. I am amazed they did not go to the old chestnut and go with Sonic Spin Battle Adventure. That would have been a bridge too far, I imagine.
Well, my personal expectation is this is going to be like some kind of arcade game deal.
Probably.
That is what these trademarks have often been, like either arcade or like a merchandising thing. They've never like leaked a proper game through this.
I could totally see Sonic Jump as a ticket pusher arcade.
Yeah, well, they've done it.
Game.
Oh yeah,
They've
yeah,
done it for Sonic Dash. Like Sonic Dash exists as one of the what's that arcade? What's the only surviving arcade chain that exists that isn't round
Dave
one?
and Buster's.
Dave and Buster's, that's the one. Like if you go to a Dave and Buster's, there's a very good chance you'll find the Sonic Rush redemption machine where you can just play a big tall phone screen of Sonic Rush.
You mean Sonic Dash?
Sonic Dash, yeah.
I was gonna say, like, did they steal the Sonic Rush name?
No, Sonic Dash. I forget the exact name of what they call that version of it, but it's Sonic Dash something.
So, we should talk. We do have a couple little things.
They should call it Sonic Spin Battle Mania Adventure.
For Sonic X Shadow Generations. Just real quick, it is the best rated Sonic game in years. Like, I think it averaged like 80% on Metacritic, which is actually higher than Sonic Colors and I think the original Sonic Generations.
There's part of me that thinks that this is at least partially a generation shift. I'm not
younger Sonic fans as reviewers now.
Yeah, well, I mean, if you look at the nature of reviews of games writing as an industry, in so much as it still exists as an industry, which is questionable, but we'll go with it. Like a lot of for all the hubbub that people made about IGN gave it a 9. And freaking out because they still think it's 2006 and are freaked out about not understanding.
The IGN reviewer is a Sonic fan.
Yes, the reviewer here. I looked at her previous reviews. She had no reviews between this game and Sonic Superstars. This is a staff person who does Sonic things. Sonic fans,
and I'm personally okay with that. And
Sonic fans don't understand.
A little bias there.
If
any, had a GameStop score to balance it out.
I think I get to justifiably criticize Sonic fans who are shocked about IGN that Sonic fans don't understand the passage of time.
They also don't understand that websites have like different reviewers,
or that basically games media has dramatically shifted over the last 20 years in both like the people doing it and I don't know, like no, I can't. I'm trying to think of like who would still be at IGN now that would have been at IGN prior to even just 2010, and like I think
like maybe a head editor or something.
Yeah, I'm trying to think. What's his name? Per Snyder?
I don't recognize that name.
I'm not gonna look it up.
Well, anyway,
someone can correct me in the comments.
In addition to critical success, the game has also sold 1 million units in a day, which ain't bad.
Sure.
Mind you, this is at launch. This is at physical launch, so that's 1 million of the digital, pretty much.
Yeah.
That was the day it was announced that it sold 1 million units. Is at its physical launch.
I've got to imagine that would also like count physical pre-orders, right?
Probably. And like I said before, most popular platform for it has been PlayStation.
Yeah, which I know that they have a marketing partnership, but that does still surprise me.
It is surprising, but let us remember that it was originally revealed in a state of play,
Yeah.
and its major trailer releases were also in another state of play.
Yeah.
So Sony, and it got exclusive content for PlayStation. Sony's pushing the relationship hard for some reason.
What I'm wondering now is whether or not it will like have the legs to match what Sonic Frontiers did.
I'm suspicious not, but that is a very positive initial release. I think, you know what?
Right.
You know what? I haven't accounted for the movie with that. The movie could push it over. I could see the movie
Yeah.
possibly pushing it over because they will push. This is something that when the movie releases, you blitz commercials for it.
And this is
Yeah,
also the
and this
first time when Sega has had a new game like in the vicinity of of one of the movies.
Yeah.
and it's like something I've been saying. It's Sonic has become more of a popular kids franchise than just a video game franchise. So
Oh, it always has
he's
been. It's
yeah,
always.
he's such the big spot in the in the media.
Jason, let Shigs. Let's
I
not.
think Shigs might mean like multimedia kids franchise.
No,
instead of
I get that, but let's
Yeah.
not forget they approved and launched 2 simultaneous cartoon series in like 1992 or 93. Like it's always wanted to be transmedia property. Like it has always gone for that. This is just the most successful iteration of that they've ever seen.
Yeah.
Right. I'm just saying it's more popular as a cartoon kids mascot than a game mascot anymore.
I mean, like, I would definitely say that a lot of his popularity is now from the movie.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah, from the movies and cartoons, where as Mario, he's still super popular, but when you think Mario, you think of the video games,
Oh,
where you don't always do that with Sonic anymore.
the kids are all about Spike the Foreman.
I
They
think
just love
Sega.
him.
I think Sega has been smart about capitalizing on it, especially these last few years.
No,
Like,
I think they are smart in capitalizing on this one. I think on prior ones,
that's what I meant. That's why I said I specifically meant capitalizing in regards to the movies.
Remember whenever they tried to
Sonic 2.
Remember when they tried to tie in the Sonic Colors remake to the movies, and if you got a physical version, you got the child Sonic keychain, or if you got the digital version, you could get lightning effects on his boost trail. They sure did, but the mobile titles did okay. Like the mobile were all in on the movie stuff. You could play as Sonic's dead mom if you wanted.
Yeah, and his baby Sonic,
which was a choice.
You can have baby Sonic hit his mom with I guess I don't know, one of his attacks. I haven't played that character in a while. But so okay, so moving on to we are in Halloween now in our little news recap because Tales Tube had a special King Boom Boo holiday episode where the characters each told little Halloween stories, and it was very cute. And the big final one that got all the art was essentially a legend about the origins of King Boom Boo, who was a king who tried to get this treasure and had to like give up his life for it, and he became the big evil king ghost. And I don't know, it was just it's easily the best of the Tales tubes they've done, and I thought it was very cute.
People reacted weird to it, but yeah, it was yeah.
There's always a few people like that.
Oh, there always are, but yeah, like you know what I liked about it? It was trying to tell me something without a product to sell me.
Yeah, which I think is
we haven't had one of those in a while.
Yeah, like I know the last one was that Amy tarot card thing.
It was legitimately good, except for my complaint again was Shadow didn't engage with anyone. He just stood there as a prop. and then left whenever someone tried to engage
I
with
mean,
him.
he engaged with them, but
No, he
his
didn't.
engagement was, "You're annoying."
Uh, he was a prop.
Specifically to Sonic.
He was a prop, and then he stopped being a prop as he
Uh,
left.
Shigs, did you have a chance to check it out?
Yeah, I've seen that special too, and yeah, it was kind of neat that they gave that particular character some background lore, where before it's just a ghost hanging out. So that's the one
This
thing I'll say about the Sonic series. Is Mario's a series very, very simplified. Doesn't really go into background details. Where Sonic will and from time to time.
I
Hmm.
like that we are at least preserving some degree of, you know what, Knuckles is allowed to be at least a little bit stupid. Like he should be at least a little bit stupid. I know some people are thinking like, but I want all my characters to be smart and good, and I don't want any comedy in my thing. No,
I
Knuckles is a
I
good
like
character for this.
Yeah.
I like Knuckles and Archie where he wasn't a moron and more like, I guess, I don't know, the stoic warrior, but like
And I'll say Boom Knuckles is my favorite Knuckles.
Oh, Boom Knuckles is the best Knuckles. Like there is no better Knuckles than Boom Knuckles. He's
Boom
Right.
Knuckles I do enjoy, but I definitely get how that can annoy people, especially
but this
one
but this was
he
but this wasn't
he kind of gets a bit flanderized.
this wasn't Boom Knuckles though. This was
No, this was just a little stupid, which
yeah,
I think if you're gonna make Knuckles the dumb one, that is the way to do it in the
yeah.
game
Have him be
canon.
weird and awkward. Like, you know, just have
He does live alone on an island, it makes sense.
have him be the Knuckles that you want is a Knuckles who is clearly more self-confident in what he is saying than he ought to be. That is the perfect Knuckles.
So, moving on to, I guess, the Daniel RPK rumor corner. I don't know if this is gonna be a regular thing, but I had to make one this time because he did a
there's
couple.
like 3 things.
Actually, one of those is supposed to be in Back to News. I messed up the
Who
categorization.
cares? It doesn't matter.
But anyway, so the first thing is a new animated series is apparently in development, according to him. And it's not connected to Sonic Prime. And I enjoyed Sonic Prime, but I hope this is real, and I hope it is like a 2D anime type thing.
For me, this is what I would do if I was Paramount. Is I would absolutely go get a cartoon series based on this. And it doesn't have to be CG. It doesn't have to be fully CG. It could be like, you know, computer-ish 2D. And that would be perfectly acceptable. But I think these are probably a good... This is something that I think is actually valid to turn into an animated series. The
I believe
Sonic movies.
I've gone into that before. That yeah, like
Yeah.
Paramount totally needs to do an animated series.
Look,
That being said, I'm hoping that's not what this is.
Look, I didn't need a Back to the Barnyard series, but I would be at least somewhat interested to see if they wanted to make a Sonic movie version cartoon series.
Back
Yeah,
to
I think that's the best place where they can explore, Sonic's world and introduce a lot more of the
Yeah.
Sonic characters and 'cause,
yeah.
in the movies we've only had just scant minutes of what Sonic's world is about, and here they can go in more depth to that.
Without
I
having
said
to
before I want them to go into space for one of their stories.
Yeah, without
Yes.
having to have a huge budget for it.
Yeah.
like the Paramount movies are already goofy. It's like you could make something that feels tonally in alignment with that and could go a little bit crazier.
And
But-
they could probably get better writers.
Yeah. They
Which is
sure
often-
could.
Which is often what they do with
Was it-
these TV series.
Was that red meat specifically for me?
No,
It
like I
feels
feel
like
like
it.
you could very easily get Ian Flynn or Evan Stanley or someone on a series,
Oh, sure.
and
sure,
it would
sure.
probably be significantly better
I
than
don't-
the movies.
I don't think I want Ian Flynn to write a movie Sonic anything. I
Well, this is why I also said Evan Stanley.
yeah, okay, yeah. Well, Evan Stanley, sure. Ian Flynn, I think, yeah, he's my relationship with him through the context of the recent games has been weird. So I'll just leave it at that for now.
Okay. But yeah. So I now what Daniel RPK is talking about, he has not mentioned like if that's connected to Paramount. I personally don't expect it to be.
Yeah, probably not. Like I said, Sega wants Sonic to be a transmedia property, and part of that is let's get some cartoons out.
Yeah, Sonic Prime happened, after Sonic 2 the movie, so it could be just another one of those. Could be, an adaptation of the IDW comics for all we know.
But it
We
also,
have no
I
idea
would
which to
love
go with.
that,
oh,
especially if they're able to go a little do things a little differently and go a little further with continuity than they can with the actual comics.
Do a little anime, do a little anime route with that would be nice.
eh. I
But
I'm thinking of this though, that like, e- even if this is happening, think about how long it was between when we first knew about Sonic Prime and when we first got to actually see Sonic Prime. So
I think it was what 1.5 years or something.
I thought it was even longer than that. I thought we got like the initial announcement and maybe logo sometime, like maybe rumors of it, like at least 2 years.
Actually, yeah. We got like Netflix
Mhm.
accidentally posted something in like, well, I think December 2021, if I
Yeah.
remember correctly, and then we got.
So
Wait.
so obviously yes, it's not. It would be nice to have another one of these, but I think it's realistic to kind of think about it as something that might be 2 years off if it's
Oh
actually
yeah,
happening,
definitely.
and
And
that's
of course, things in development can always get canceled. Like we've been learning about more Sonic TV shows that were in development in the late 2000s that just never happened.
yeah, yeah.
So moving on to the other rumor, which is actually Paramount related. Paramount apparently has big plans for Silver
It
in the
going by
future.
rumors, going by rumors.
Yes, it's just all rumors now.
Yeah, again, this is the rumor corner. I didn't think we had to.
Yes, but I I want to make sure the audience is
Okay,
very
Daniel
firmly.
RPK has rumored that Paramount has big plans for Silver. Amy will play a prominent role in Sonic 4, and the Shadow spin-off that he has talked about in the past could be a movie if Sonic 3 does well enough.
Hey, you smart listener of Sonic Talk. That this reminder isn't for you. You already know. It's for the other guy listening, the one that you don't know personally and couldn't talk to. That reminder's for them. They don't understand that it's a rumor, but you absolutely do because you're a smart listener of Sonic Talk who loves the show.
Actually, the reminder is just for Shigs.
Shigs,
All right.
Shigs, this is a rumor. Do you know what a rumor is? We need to make sure you understand. This is not announced or promised.
Truth?
Um,
Is that what it is? It's the truth? What?
We understand that you really, really want Dodonpaw for Sonic the Hedgehog 5, which is definitely coming. But we don't have any evidence of this.
but it does make me happy. It would make me happy for Amy to play a prominent role in Sonic 4. Silver, I don't care about because I like Silver in IDW. But so far as I'm concerned, Silver has not earned his keep in this franchise to get an elevated role in anything yet. Like, it just feels like, yeah, we're gonna use Silver because like he's the other character in the male hedgehog trio who can go super.
Exactly.
Alex,
I think that's if there's any truth to this rumor, I think that's exactly what they're seeing it as. Is they don't know this character that the fan base is just kind of meh on, and then that they go, "Ooh, another hedgehog. Let's make us another
Knuckles,
But
movie around
Knuckles,
him."
yes,
I've never been so proud of you as I have in this moment.
I mean, don't get me wrong, I still want to see him playable in something. But like, I don't know. For me, it's like if you're gonna like Amy, Amy better be
Look.
prominent in the fourth movie because
Look. My
Well,
standing.
Amy is the main four of the classic four. To not have her would just be
and
insane.
also again just lack of female characters in these first 3 movies.
Well,
Right.
Yeah, GX.
Yeah. My current hypothesis is okay for the fourth movie you do Sonic Heroes, and it's prominent to have teams in Sonic Heroes. You could very easily introduce other characters in that manner, including a character like Amy, and a way
Yeah.
that you could reintroduce Amy in a way that is more fitting to what would make sense in that universe, and more specifically to what female fans would want out of a female character in that universe, compared to what they tend to get out of an Amy.
And also, something like that, but also finally let them introduce Metal Sonic, who, by the way, again, is long overdue in my opinion. I'm shocked he wasn't in Sonic 2.
Yeah, I was a little bit surprised Sonic 3 wouldn't have been about Metal Sonic, but
But regardless, they wanted to move on to the next big marketable character, which is Shadow.
yeah.
And I am wondering if they're actually going to kill him off at the end of this movie, because
No.
if the spin-off thing is actually happening,
No, they won't.
that means they're just instantly resurrecting him again.
I don't think they want to kill off Shadow. I think if Sega, if Sonic Team, anyone but Yuji Naka, I don't know what Yuji Naka is thinking except for, how can I take money from this company? Is thinking probably the worst mistake they probably could have made is kill Shadow off in the first game, because they spent how many years trying to justify going back and bringing him back to life? I think I can think of at least 3 games that he went through that experience, and it was didn't it intertwine with Sonic Battle in some way, shape, or form?
I honestly don't know, because I've never been able to get through Sonic Battle.
But yeah, they spent at least 2 games being why is Shadow here? And not really making any meaningful discussion of how he's back. And the reason why he is back is very stupid and throwaway, and they don't delve into it despite it being the big mystery.
That's it.
Yep.
But but I do hope that Shadow spinoff is a movie, because I don't want Shadow and Wade.
I want Shadow and
if they're gonna do
Wade.
Shadow spinoff, I want a proper Shadow thing.
I want Shadow and Wade. I want Shadow and Knuckles and Wade to all live together in the same Jewish household.
Oh God.
Going through his attempt to grow into actual manhood and gain self-confidence, and absolutely ignore all these expensive CG characters.
A part of me wonders.
Disaster happens at Shadow's bar mitzvah.
Oh, wait. Crud, I always forget his name. Who was Wade's rival?
The bounty hunter dude.
Yeah, who was the bounty hunter? Because I love it. Jack something.
Let's see.
I want the Jack and Shadow film, or the Jack and Shadow spin-off series. We need to regain Jack's confidence in himself.
Jack Sinclair.
Jack Sinclair, that's it. Yeah, give me the Jack Sinclair and Shadow series.
I mean, I don't know, Shadow likes bikes. Maybe
Yeah,
Jack
they both
tries
have
to steal his
motorcycles. Yeah, there's
Jack and Shadow sounds kind of inappropriate, though.
Shigs!
Oh, but I mean, yeah, but we know the fan base.
But anyway,
Someone
I
will
want
get
if they do a Shadow spinoff, I wonder if they would actually bring in Black Doom.
Oh,
Part of me wonders if the one thing they might do is fix Shadow's characterization issues from the game.
Look. They can't do I'm still not going to see the movie, as far as I know. I still know my stance on these movies are what they are, and will continue to be what they are until they decide to do otherwise. But there's no way that this isn't the best iteration of Shadow.
Really? Even including Sonic Prime?
I'm thinking even yeah, because Sonic Prime Shadow didn't actually have that much attention or screen time. Like,
Yeah.
number one, they have a voice actor who everything we know about Keanu Reeves is that he throws himself into every role that he does, and he has very prominently thrown himself into this role. I am
Yeah.
I am expecting a pretty solid Keanu Reeves performance out of this Shadow.
Jeffrey Fowler actually talked about Keanu Reeves regarding Shadow. Apparently,
Yeah.
Keanu Reeves did research on the character. He used many different. He would give many different versions of line readings. It sounds like he did put a lot of work into this.
They're putting him in a game. Like, I don't
Yeah.
I don't
Yes,
care.
I mean,
I don't care how much that the Sonic voice actor whose name I forget every time I have to think of it. Dewey Duck voice actor.
Ben Schwartz.
Ben Schwartz, thank you. For as much as Ben Schwartz has said that he's enjoyed doing the role, they haven't put him in a game yet, and it seems like he would be otherwise very available for a game.
Yeah.
The fact that Keanu is
he does play classic, NES and Super NES games. He's done that on streaming and such.
Yeah,
that's Nintendo.
He's stomped on Koopas.
Mm-hmm.
No, I believe Keanu feels like a very authentic guy and a very sincere guy, and if I am told that he really enjoys doing this, I 100% believe that he is gonna put his all into doing this. I have every faith that this is probably going to be one of the best representations of Shadow, much in the same way that I think, quite honestly, Idris Elba's Knuckles is probably one of the most realized visions of who Knuckles could be as a character.
But the problem is we also have the Jim Carrey humor.
Yeah, like I said,
and this one's gonna have 2 Jim Carreys.
Yeah, look, you have honed in on why I probably won't be seeing this movie. I like Ben Schwartz. I think Ben Schwartz is an okay voice actor and a pretty good actor. I don't think that I don't want to listen to him do Sonic. I'm tired of him.
Aw.
Look, part of it, okay. Part of it is the writing. I think the writing is not great, and I think with a better script they could hone his manic energy a bit more directly instead of putting it into making pop culture references. But yeah. Yeah, I acknowledge that his Sonic is very good for the character, even if I do not care for it.
Now, one thing I will say is that I am still looking forward to the movie, but I think if anything is going to break the Rotten Tomatoes winning streak / fans being happy with it winning streak, it's probably going to be this one.
Oh, look,
especially with how fans can be about Shadow.
Look, my dude. Again, hey, Sonic Talk listener, the smart Sonic Talk listener who is brilliant and absolutely follows us.
Move it along.
They obviously know that, hey, we don't need to go out and get mad about every negative review for the movie that it will definitely get, like I saw on Discord whenever both Discord and the forums whenever the second movie came out. No, you smart intelligent listener knows how to take it all in stride and accept that if you like a movie, then it's okay that maybe a reviewer with a different context going into it might not like it in the same way that you do. And I appreciate that you're going to act appropriately after you've gone see the movie.
So moving on, so to some proper Sonic 3 news.
Oh no, I should have said before the movie. Now they're going to complain before the movie's out.
Anyway, so Sonic 3, so it's been confirmed that Sonic 3 will will be teasing another character and setting up a future movie. So like it's going to be doing what the last two movies did, which isn't surprising. So like I imagine that if those rumors about Amy are accurate, we will probably know in about a month.
Well, no, it's Crystal Zaz, obviously.
And it'll also have a runtime of an hour 49 minutes, meaning that meaning that they're not extending it with a stupid ass scene for a stupid 2 hour and 2 minute joke.
There won't be a Tyler Perry moment in this, hopefully.
Cool.
Oh god, I hope not. Please don't do another wedding scene where the movie gets derailed for 30 minutes. I'm begging you, don't do it.
Why do you think I'm not going to go see this movie in theaters?
Unless something miraculously changes your mind.
Unless, unfortunately, I think the thing that might miraculously change my mind is my good friend Evil Dr. Reef.
I do plan on asking him if he wants to be on the show, if he's going to be going to see it.
Sadly, I think if he goes to see it, then it will probably be because he is also having me go to see it.
Oh god, that would be funny.
Mm.
Of course, he could just say, "No, I'm not going to go see it." Then I guess we'll have to I don't know, get Dredd or Donnie or someone. But anyway, so yeah, so it's going to be shorter, but that's a good thing, so far as I'm concerned. Shigs, any final thoughts on Sonic 3 stuff?
Yeah, there's one thing that was just shown I saw on social media. Apparently, right now, when playing in front of Red One, and I guess any kids' movies, is if you've gone to the Regal Cinemas or whatever, and you see that little roller coaster ride with the
Yeah.
popcorn exploding and everything, and they've had one of the Minions, and they've had one of Trolls, and now it's Sonic, Tails, and Knuckles riding the little roller coaster.
Sonic, Tails,
remote
and
their movie.
Knuckles joining the illustrious pillar that is the Minions.
Right.
Um,
Outside of that, I'm really hoping it's Amy at the end of this movie. Uh, it's her time. Definitely over Silver or Rouge right now. She's one of the classic four. She needs to be in these.
it would be very funny if it was Mephiles.
That would authentically be very funny.
Yeah, that's just completely out of left field. I would love that.
The problem is, it would be very funny to me, and then I would see so many people that are excited for Mephiles authentically and sincerely, and then I would be upset.
I would probably be one of those people too. Sorry, Amy. So
Amy and Mephiles are just now the same character. That's how they put them in. They merged her into one.
Back to the final news stretch. This stuff was all from last week or two.
Amy is the Iblis trigger. I figured out the next movie.
I mean, that is a way to get both her and Silver, I guess. Ooh, or Amy is from the future and Silver's from the future, and she's fighting Silver to protect Sonic.
Oh, that would be so bad. That would be so awful.
Like, wouldn't that just basically be the Terminator?
I mean, my stance is still like, hey, have the next movie be Sonic Heroes, have it be some sort of tournament movie.
That is the one that would make the most sense, but also probably be the most expensive. But ideally, by then, you're confident enough in your movie franchise to spend a lot of money on it.
Yeah. Or if you're Paramount, spend an inadvisable amount of money on it with no chance of making the kind of profit that you would probably need or want.
So GE is back at it again with Master Zik and some Mom plushies.
They picked the two.
I remember I think I did like a poll or something about GE plushies earlier in the year. It's like, I asked, hey, do you guys want Deadly Six? I was like, no. I was like, yeah, I don't want Deadly Six either.
I do, but the problem is there's like two good ones. One that's
Zaz and Zavik?
Yeah, Zaz and Zavik. There's three that are like borderline offensive.
I'm gonna guess that's Zelmom, the girl, and the emo.
I would say the purple one is maybe a little bit more innocuous. I'm okay with him. I don't love this guy is big and dumb and fat, or this guy is a stereotype Asian
Well,
Asian master, and this
I
one
get it.
is
Problem
a
is they're all
stereotype Valley girl.
stereotypes. They
But
are
like,
all
I will just say,
stereotypes. That's the biggest
They
problem.
are,
yeah.
but the emo one is a less offensive stereotype, and I don't know what stereotype Zaz is because he's not a stereotype of Cajun people.
Zaz is just a weirdo.
No, that's why I like Zaz. Zaz is the Waluigi freak. That's the whole reason why I like him, is because he's the weird Waluigi freak.
But like, despite me not really wanting them to do the Deadly Six, I get how it makes sense, and they look well made, and so I'm probably going to buy them at some point.
I will pass. I don't need Zik or Zamam. They're not
Well,
their support, which Zik and Zamam are like actively kind of offensive.
well, like I said, I've decided that I've chosen this as the thing where I'm going to get everything.
Sure,
So,
that's fair.
I'll be right back.
And while he's gone, let's talk about shoes that are bad.
Right, yes! I put that in there too, because it wasn't worth its own entry. So yes, the best version of Sonic's shoes is getting a toy. We're getting Soap Shoes Sonic from Jack Specific, apparently. And that, I don't know, I just think that's neat. Like, these are the kinds of toy variations that I can get into.
You mean ones that are indiscernible from a distance?
No, the one where it's like, this cool, fun variant that was only in one game.
I guess. I mean, you know how I feel about the soap shoes. They're over-designed crap, but...
Well, I've always liked the look of them, and I'm also nostalgic for them. So it's a nice combination for me.
Hey, we got SEGA financials. Do you want me to give you a rundown of SEGA?
I'm just gonna let you handle this, cause...
Okay. Yeah, I'll give you the SEGA financial rundown. There's not like anything too crazy here. A big part of it being like these are the Q2 results, and the Q2 results, we're talking like March to September, I believe. No, wait, no, March is Q1. Basically, it's like it doesn't include October. Guess where all the big games came out?
In October. We're not going to know about those until, like, February, I think.
Like, even then, like, even in June, we got, like, 2 significant games that, like, it's almost... I don't think they released no games this quarter, but I can't think of a single one that actually came out this financial quarter. Like, in Q1, we had Monkey Ball Banana Rumble and Shin Megami Tensei 5 Vengeance, and those were, like, smack dab at the end of Q1. So if they were going to sell, they would be selling in Q2, but they are technically a repeat release, per se.
Yeah.
Short answer is, they did fine. They did better than last year, but SEGA kind of had higher expectations of them, and it's kind of understandable why some of these wouldn't have been great. Like, Monkey Ball Banana Rumble... Number 1, we're talking about the 3rd Monkey Ball game that they've released on Switch, and this one is a Switch exclusive. It's a great game. You should play it. But also, it's the 3rd one.
Exactly.
Shin Megami Tensei 5 Vengeance, I mean, Atlas is gonna Atlas. This seems like a really... This seems like a dumb... No. It seems designed to manipulate your fans in a way that seems very cynical.
Oh yeah, but that's what Atlas has always done.
That is also what Atlas has always done, yes. I'm
surprised you didn't do that with Persona 3.
Yeah, weirdly. There's still time. But also, SMT5 was originally Switch, so this was their excuse to, release it on other platforms, which it seemed like most people were fine with it on Switch. Got what they wanted out of it on Switch already, so I don't know. Unicorn Overlord, the Vanillaware Atlas published game, Sega says, hey, it's doing well. Which, you know, that's cool. It's an original IP, and I like Vanillaware in concept, even though I haven't really I haven't been interested in, I should say, anything that they've released post, I don't know, that Wii exclusive game. It kind of bugs what I should play.
You mean Muramasa's Blade?
I think so. But also, I have been told very strongly to play a one of their recent games that was
Fantasio?
no. No, that's not even associated with Vanillaware.
Oh, I thought you were talking about Atlas. Sorry.
I mean, I'm talking about both technically, but geez, I don't know. Vanillaware doesn't port their games to PC, and it bugs and it kills me because I would, in a heartbeat, buy their games on PC.
Well, you have to get on a PlayStation, I guess.
But all of this is neither here or there. Basically, they're looking this quarter at 141.7 billion yen. That's up about 20 billion yen from this time last year, but they are hoping to hit 335 billion yen by the end of the year. In terms of game sales, like, we're talking Q2, or I should say up to Q2, we're up to 12 million total full game sales, not including like free to play stuff. So they're doing business. They're absolutely doing business.
Oh yeah.
They had the audacity to say that, oh, Sega in Europe, we're doing pretty.
Oh yeah.
We're doing
I read
pretty
this in
well with our cost improvement in Q2.
AKA firing people.
Yeah. Guess what they did at the end of Q1? They laid off 240 people in the European studio. So yeah, cost improvement. Apparently the new Total War games are doing well, which is cool. It's good for that studio. I'm glad to hear that. Obviously, hey, we don't have any sales data on Sonic X Shadow Generations or Metaphor ReFantagio. They misspelled ReFantagio in their own financial briefing.
God, yeah. Was ReFantagio.
Yeah,
right?
With the double G. Which is funny because the logo was right next to it, spelled correctly. So that's fun.
Fair warning, I might be about to do something that's going to take me off the show for a minute. Because I guess got a low battery warning.
I'll do some financial vamping for the next 20 minutes. How's that sound?
At least I'll make it 20 minutes.
No. They're doing hey,
house cleaning.
They're continuing to emphasize transmedia stuff.
Hello, can you still hear me?
I can still hear you. Can you still hear me?
Excellent. Okay. So it didn't kill my mic. Excellent.
They're still pushing transmedia stuff. Hey, we got a sense of community under the theme of Shadow, the only character who actively does not want to be in a community.
Yeah, really.
Apparently, this might be one of the biggest takeaways is Walmart has assessed them as a 3-star property through their entertainment cancel program. And effectively that means like, hey, if you want priority positioning for your stuff, like, hey, do you want a end cap to sell your stuff? Do you want like special marketing in our catalogs and stuff? Then being a AAA IP is pretty useful for that. Which...
So I guess this must explain why the Sega and Sonic toys are so prominent.
Yeah, so like that's probably pretty good. Hey, Fist of the North Star Pachinko's doing well. Detective Conan films are also doing well. Everything that they also mentioned. We have
Didn't they update like how many Sonic downloads there have been? It's like 1.7 billion now.
no, we did not much Sonic stuff this time. Like
Okay, well, somewhere they apparently announced that Sonic downloads have had 1.7 billion, but I couldn't find the source anywhere. I guess it wasn't in the financials either.
yeah, I don't know where that's coming from, but uh, but yeah, they are putting a lot of focus on legacy IPs alongside super games because basically
Excellent.
as they were justifying to these investors like, hey, this is where we're putting money in the next few years, like I think next 3 years. The two primary things are they're expecting 90 billion yen into enhancement of major IPs in Japan studios. So that's going to be 90 billion yen, roughly, probably more. So the existing stuff they have, your Like a Dragon, your Sonic, your anything Atlas is putting out. And then the other portion of it is 30 billion yen for legacy IPs / super game, which
Excellent.
which on one hand, the super game still continues to sound like a scam to convince investors to invest in something that doesn't exist. But on the other hand, I'm glad that we are looking at it as an estimated only quarter of their game investment as opposed to
$1 billion.
well, yeah, well, I mean, we're talking yen, but like we're talking 90 billion yen for existing stuff versus 30 billion yen for legacy IP and super game. But it does make it sound like they're not betting the farm on super game, which
That's good.
Which is probably good.
Hey Sega, you know what legacy IPs I want? I want Nights into Dreams 3 and Shenmue 4. Get to it.
You will get a Streets of Rage that isn't as good as Streets of Rage 4, which Sega didn't make. Congratulations.
Nah, I want Shenmue 4 that isn't as good as what Sega made.
Don't worry, you might actually get that. Yeah, and hey, they did some stock buyback, so
all right.
Apparently that's
Final
that's the thing that they're comfortable with right now.
Well, it's move along now.
Yeah.
So final piece of news, which is oddly enough, like I almost didn't include it, but we've never talked about this before, so I figure why not.
Sure.
Nakamura has again expressed interest in a Sonic 2006 remake, which makes me happy because I've expressed interest in them doing that.
You know what makes me happy too?
What?
Because it will never happen.
I hope you're wrong. Like, I hope you get the game of your dreams next year, but then I hope you're wrong.
Look, this
sounds like just some BS to make some fans happy.
Yeah, this was at a fan convention. They're saying some
right. True.
Yeah, this was at the.
But apparently, he's expressed this before.
Yeah, I mean, they can. It doesn't mean Sega will let them. In fact, if I was Sega, I would tell them, no, you are not permitted. Make a new game. Make something that will align with the Sonic 4 movie, whatever it will be.
Okay, I'm gonna like make a new game that just happens to reintroduce all of the things from Sonic 2006 because that game got wiped from existence, so technically it never happened. There we go. And also, like Hoshino talked about an Eggman spinoff, which that goes into his family history.
Yeah, that will also never happen.
I don't even know how you'd make that. Like, I guess maybe a mech game or strategy game or something.
Have the 2 Point Hospital team make it, and have all the Eggman family members in their goofy style, and you have to manage a laboratory for robots.
Oh my god, that's actually a legitimately good idea. You know, like the Sonic X Generations did introduce the idea that Gerald had two sons, one of whom was super into science and robotics, and the other one who was super into archaeology. So, like, I don't know, there's some places they could go with that.
He appears in 2 Point Museum. This is where he's been this whole time. We get new
So-
lore on the Robotnik family in this Sega of Europe spinoff.
So Shigs, do you want either of those things to ever happen?
Not really.
Ah, I am alone in having the correct opinion, apparently. I hate it when that happens.
Sure. Let's talk about some darn comics.
Oh, finally! We're talking about IDW again. I've been trying to do this for so long. We were talking about the annual today.
Because the writer's little story is still going on.
Yeah, and it took us so long to revisit that at this point, I might as well just wait for it to end next month.
Right. But it's been a fun read.
Yeah, but so the annual, definitely one of my favorite books to come out of IDW in a spell, and I'll be honest, it's the closest one to feeling like something that Archie would have made.
I was
at
about
one
to
point
say
in
this
time.
is some Archie ass BS going on in this Knuckles story, and I bet you loved it.
Yes, I did. I really loved it. Like one splash page looked like something Spaz would make.
Sure
Like,
does.
damn.
Like,
So
hey,
the
let's have some vaguely Master Emerald, I don't know, mystical nonsense that doesn't have anything to do with anything, but we get to make weird shiny Knuckles art.
Yeah, and I found that to be like to be just a fun little story that gets kind of focused on
Just
Knuckles'
just showing that when
perspective
Knuckles
on
is
things.
I care about it as
that when
much
he's
as I
just
care
stuck
about
on
any
his
annuals. Sorry.
when he's stuck on Angel Island, he gets lonely and he thinks about his friends and such. I thought that
Yeah,
was cute.
yeah, and for a short little story, it worked. Now the other two stories, the first one appears to be and it does also introduce Amy Knuckles and Amy Sonic and Tails at the end, and like says, "Hey, this is setting up something for issue 80," which neat. It is again a very Archie thing to do, I might add. But so the first story in the issue focuses on Surge and Kit, and kind of where Surge is at as a character right now, where she
Yeah,
no
we see
longer hates
where
she
yeah,
she
seeing
she
where she is after the arc. She's still trying to do good, even though she's terrible at it.
yeah but she does actually want to be a hero now, albeit she's mostly in for the glory, but she doesn't hate the world anymore. Like she realized, oh wait a moment, these people are just incompetent morons. Their fault. I shouldn't be blaming them. It's Sonic's fault still. It's just Sonic's fault now. And so we kind of got this thing where it's like, she wants to continue saving people. She wants to continue being a hero, but at some point in the future, she still wants to knock off Sonic and Tails.
It's in their
Be-
programming too, basically.
yeah,
Their
and
freedom is an illusion for both of them, to be honest,
maybe, but
because of their
But
programming.
I do like this direction that they're taking her, she where she is like at least trying to to be a hero. She's trying to be on the right side of things, even
Yeah,
though
she's still a jerk, but she's trying to be good
yeah,
in her own way.
even though the story does still set up that this isn't going to work out because uh, if anyone is still really under their programming at this point, it is Kit, because
Yeah,
Kit.
it turns out he's the more evil of the two.
Yeah, yeah. Which that is kind of a nice twist, because they did suggest kind of early on that, like, oh yeah, he might be the more amenable and sympathetic of the two. But now it's like, oh, he makes this connection where Surge wants to be a hero, but if we take out Eggman, she can't be a hero anymore. So I should uh so I should set up scenarios where she can continue to be a hero, so that she can be happy, because my only goal is to make her happy. Which
Stop her
is
from,
very
stopping Eggman.
yeah. Oh my god.
So
So he'll continue the Sonic cycle at some point.
yeah, he's kind of helping Eggman in his own way.
At least that seems to be his intention. Like we'll see how it plays out. Um So like, I am happy to see them going in this direction with these characters, even though they have clearly telegraphed that it's not going to last, which it's always kind of been the issue with this comic, is that they're only willing to take character development so far.
Well, it still has to fit. We are still living in a pre-Frontiers world, and they're gonna have to do a shift eventually. It's just a question of how many years we're looking at.
Yeah, but like in the case of Surge and Kit, they do have more leeway depending on whether
Yeah.
or not they plan on sticking them in games.
It's just
'Cause,
weird.
you know,
It's just weird that this entire thing has to continuously exist in like a time pocket.
yeah, like
Right. I
I
think
don't
at
understand
one
why
point they
they.
need to do like the Star Wars Marvel comics and just go from the one movie eventually to the next, where they'll spend like about 5 years in between doing stories between like
Well, I
Empire
don't
or Jedi or
understand
what have you.
why they don't just do like, what you usually do in comics like this, and just kind of have like a rolling timeline where it's like time passes, months pass, maybe a year, but you don't
Well,
like think too hard about it, and like a game releases, it you have it happen in the comic, and then you move on from that.
I mean, it begs the question if they have a vision of what they want to do.
And
Well, if they
in,
have
thi-
a
in this case, that could be what's holding things up.
yeah, because I mean, there's Sonic Frontiers, whether valid or not, pitched it as a generational shift for the series. Now, I don't personally think Frontiers was in of itself. I am open to the idea that it could be based on the way it ended, but by and large, like there could be a reason why this has to exist in a time pocket, but also I don't think they want IDW to get farther than I don't think they want IDW to set a tone, but I also don't necessarily think that they want IDW to be continuously inherently privy to what their future plans might be? Question mark?
I mean, like
Especially
that.
if they're only vague on him? I don't know.
But as I see it, this is why you have Sonic Team read the scripts and improve things, which is what they're doing. So, like, unless they are planning a big shift after Frontiers for future games, keeping it in this time pocket is just weird.
It
Like,
is.
it is a bad decision.
But
Um,
even still, like I say time pocket, but it's also still basically still narrative availability pocket. Like we can't pretend that oh yeah, things that are happening in the comic matter to the game. And the answer is no, they don't. The comics and the games might be connected by a style of Sonic, but there's not a one-to-one connection here.
Well, if
but
you
hey,
introduce those comic book characters into the games, then that limits their freedom in the comic books. Suddenly they become important IPs that can't be
I
touched
don't
in
think that
certain
is
ways.
I don't think that's held back the existing the characters created originally for the IDW comics. I think what it's legitimately done though is that it's not like they have appeared anywhere outside of like mobile like
Mobile
multiplayer
games
stuff.
and plush dolls like Tangle
yeah.
and Whisper.
Well, as I understand it, like Tangle and Whisper do operate under the same rules as the video game characters.
I,
So
I
that
suppose.
probably says something about where they might be going within the brand. Like Starline was, of course, he was allowed to die, but so
He was
like
allowed to
I'm
die. I like
so
that
like
phrasing. We permit you to die.
I'm guessing that like it's probably done like a character per character basis or something. But before I move on, because I before I move on, do either of you have anything else to say about the Surge and Kit story?
Uh It's fine. It felt very annual. It's not as sort of trite as a lot of the other annuals that they've had, but it
Oh
also
yeah,
like
this
doesn't.
annual is a lot better than their special. Sorry.
Eh, I yeah I there are some that I like more than others. This one I'm just kind of middling on.
Hmm.
It's
And
fine.
Shigs?
It's the kind of thing where, like, I didn't need these characters to be explicit about this. I think that a lot of what they're saying here comes across through the things happening in the main story.
Hmm.
It didn't
Uh,
feel like a story that needed told. I kind of got this out of these characters elsewhere.
all right. Shigs?
It depends. I mean, we know, that Kitsunami hates Tails. That's been very much obvious. But the fact that he's even that loves Surge enough to actually backstab her when it comes to wanting to destroy Eggman and stuff shows that his side is darker than Surge, which he really didn't see before. It's just more of them being showing them as sympathetic. Which they kind of still are, because at the end of the day, that mind control, stuff is still in them, even with the doctor dead and all. So as much as villainous as they are, they're still sympathetic, and that's the one aspect I really like about those two characters. Now the other one story, which I find interesting, is the mimic backstory, which we
Yes.
sadly see a happy
Now,
whisper in for a
now,
while. And what I like about this direction is we see the main reason why Mimic, backstabbed him is so evil is he's kind of like a self-hating person. He thinks that everyone's like him and that can't be trusted.
moving on to that. One thing about this story that I heard from the writer was that Sega stated that Mimic needed to have been evil, essentially. Like they could not like his backstory could not be him having been a good guy who turned to a bad guy. He will have always needed to be the bad guy that he currently is, essentially, which I think is the mindset that a lot of the characters are a lot of the original characters are kind of are under now, where it's like character development can only go so far, and certain things about these characters need to be static.
Well, yeah, I
Uh,
mean, not every character gets to have the redemption arc.
yeah,
Like,
but
Yeah,
I
it's
guess I did find it
showing
interesting that
why
was
the
like,
character is evil is better than just
yeah,
yes.
him. Oh, he's just evil.
And I really did like this storyline because, again, it really does get into his psyche, his mindset, and the kind of thinking that character like this, who is constantly backstabbing and constantly and not willing to like set down roots or like keep or like establish friendships, will have. And this is probably one of my favorite stories in IDW modern Sonic so far.
it's a little bit of a shame that the art changes halfway through in a weird way, but
Yeah, the art
I'm guessing
also kind of gives me Archie vibes, if I'm being honest,
yeah.
and not in the best way.
Uh,
Um,
it, like I kind of feel the same way I do about the Surge storyline. It's like, yeah, you could have given me this. I don't think it changes how I feel about the character. I don't think that this is something that I inherently needed to be told explicitly to kind of just have an implicit understanding, because the way they act in the main stories is pretty defining of who they are as a character and how they got to where they are. If there is
sure,
a
but I
But
do appreciate
it's
seeing like
it's still
seeing
nice
like
to have an introspective like that. I think.
yeah, like you can have a character who who they are, but still have an interesting introspective, especially when you have when you have their thought what their view of themselves in the world challenged by the Diamond Cut, but by outside characters, which is what happened with him and the Diamond Cutters, and we get to see like how he came to the conclusion that that like even after staying with them for as long as he did, he had to betray them.
I see.
Like
Like I'm not gonna say like, oh, it's a bad story, they shouldn't have told it. It just comes across as like, it's not. I don't mind whenever you just tell a story through things that are like defining a character through things that they are doing in the present and not feeling the need to like explore every crevice of every character. I say as a One Piece fan and understanding the irony of my words.
And like I do agree with that, but at the same time, we get this so rarely in IDW that when they do actually go into someone's backstory, like I really, and with a well-written story, I do appreciate it, even if it is just kind of going more in depth in regards to what we already know about the character.
But I will piggyback off what Shigs has said, and even if it doesn't make me feel any differently or understand better Mimic himself, getting to see the arc of and the dissonance of who Whisper used to be compared to
that
what
was
she
neat.
became, that
Oh,
was
yeah.
significant.
Now I will say I am a little disappointed that we do find out that that they have made explicit that hey, she wasn't always like
Yeah.
this kind of passive antisocial character who just happened to be able to open up to friends, but it's just trauma
No,
that did it.
she
But
was
regardless,
impacted by this
It's
event.
obviously from, yeah.
but regardless, I do see the positives in like having a character like in seeing a character be completely different before this big bad thing happens. So yeah, that is still cool, I guess.
Yeah.
I didn't mind it as much as I thought I would.
That's
when Ian first alluded to it
some
years ago.
significant character development for her to
And
understand
she's
the
kind
nuances.
of like Tangle.
Yeah, very much so.
But I imagine it was done very much on purpose.
Oh, for sure, for sure. But yeah, like this was a very Archie-like special. I just kind of like I talked to you guys off the podcast about just my feelings in general, and I just feel like I need to step away from IDW for a little bit. Just not because of anything that it's doing wrong in my mind, but it's just a general vibe or mindset. Like I almost feel like I need to let it sit for a little bit to make me actually want to miss it, because I will go months without reading it and then just try to catch up all at once whenever I feel like it's an obligation. But I don't have the affection that I did for it in the same way that I had whenever, I was even just like 15 or 16 reading Archie. And part of that is just me changing as a person. Part of that is it telling different kinds of stories that are valid for a different Sonic audience than when I was a kid.
Well, we have gone into
When you were
our
a kid, you had
issues.
the Archie comics, which had the freedom to do whatever the hell they wanted compared to now.
SEGA did still give them oversight, but it wasn't anything like what IDW is
Not
getting now.
until they let go of Penders did they have
No,
oversight, really.
they were always getting oversight. Penders will tell you that.
I just need an excuse to be much more excited for the world of Sonic than I am really getting from either from any of the current things that are out. Because like the last thing that I felt especially enthusiastic about was Sonic Prime, and the irony just keeps stacking up. The fact that like the things that Sonic fans are extremely happy about are the things that I am that I could not care about, and I seriously question why are we even excited about this. And the things that I legitimately like, that I think are done well, are things that Sonic fans are like, "What the heck are you talking about? Didn't that suck?" Like it just feels like it feels like it's moving in a direction that's just not playing to what I'm interested in. Maybe some things will change that next year. I'm at least hopeful that they'll come out with something, because they can't obviously make another Shadow game. They can't make a game that celebrates the legacy of this character again. Like, they've got to have some vision of what's another game coming out, and
Sonic X Blaze Unleashed.
dear God,
What?
There's not enough material for that.
what the heck is wrong with you, my dude?
Oh, I like Blaze. I want a Blaze spin-off game.
Ugh.
Unfortunately, she doesn't have enough material for that.
Oh no, I'm not talking about Blaze Generations. I'm just talking about a game that's set in Blaze's world that also happened to be split by some cataclysm. I don't know.
I am looking forward to having a lot of Yakuza games in front of me in 2025. I hope there will be a Sonic game that I care about, or some piece of Sonic media that, like, I feel like I can actually get excited about. I just don't feel like there's anything out there for me right now, and IDW's fine. IDW just isn't something that gets me excited. It's just like, yeah, this is fine. This is pleasant.
Like we've talked about our issues with IDW before, and I
Yeah.
think like for me a big thing is just that like I am just like extremely conscious of all of the very obvious marketing decisions going on under the hood of this damn thing. Where it's like I know like to not get too excited about any potential character developments or anything, because I guess I know that that's just not how the comic works.
Yeah.
That being said, I have been really enjoying this writer's arc and
Sure.
everything that they're doing with the restoration and with the Diamond Cutters and Surge and the opossum dude whose name I'm blanking on right now.
Clutch.
Like there it really feels like they're doing a lot
Clutch.
of the original elements, and for me it remains to be seen whether or not they manage to stick the landing, because in the past when I have been enjoying arcs, the landing's all like, oh, and then nothing happened. Or and then nothing changes.
Surprise! Status quo.
What they're doing with, yeah, I'm interested in seeing what they're doing with Lana Land, because if one character in this arc were to like turn a villain, it would be her right now, because everyone's just been lying to her behind her back and keeping secrets and everything, and she's getting more and more pissed.
It would be very nice if, like, they could have just a long-term fracture in friendships between the original characters. That would be lovely. I would love that. Give me some conflict, damn it. Some long-term status quo changes.
So we are leaning back into the Archie then again, are we?
Yes! Archie was doing that stuff right with Flynn. I had to say him because if he wasn't before him, it could be pretty hit and miss. But regardless, yes.
Yeah, I just need a break from it. I need to collect myself. I need to find an excuse to be excited for the franchise on the whole, to then drive me to, be interested again in the spin-off. And I'm saying that not because like, hey, I'm really disappointed with IDW. It's just more like I'm just not in the right headspace to even enjoy this as much as I think I probably should.
The year of Zaz.
If they decided to remaster Sonic Lost World, a game that I was the most vocal complainer about whenever we talked about it on the podcast.
Yeah, I remember that. I really enjoyed that game.
And have slowly come back around to loving it. Or at least liking it a lot.
Yeah, like there are some bad levels in it. I'm not going to argue with that.
I would say that would be interesting, we'll say. I don't know if it'd be good. It would be interesting.
In terms of remasters, Lost World has got to be the easiest.
It's in HD.
They wouldn't have to do much to the visuals, even compared to Unleashed. And like, in terms of gameplay, I do think it's a better game than Unleashed.
Just put in more Nintendo levels. That's all you gotta do.
And like, yeah, hey, but maybe Sega could partner with Nintendo, and it could be like a
Super
Nintendo
Smash
Switch,
Brothers Lost World.
and it could be like, they league with the Nintendo Switch 2 platform, and we get some more Nintendo levels. I don't know. But regardless, I think that's everything we have to discuss tonight. Shigs, do you have any final thoughts on the annual?
No, I pretty much said my piece on that one.
All right. In that case, I think we're done.
Hey, cool. Hey, this time next month, or I guess the next episode that we come to you with will probably be you two talking about the movie, probably?
Ideally before that, I would like to do something at the end of the month where we get to talk about the Knuckles comic and whatever other news we get before then.
Okay. Okay.
I don't know. It's because the movie's only a month away.
What's the movie date? Is it
December
December
20th.
20th.
okay? So yeah, it's 1 month from now. I don't know. Hey,
Like,
hey,
I think
you're
at the very
talking
least
about
we'll
a
have
lot of
one episode.
you're talking about a lot of things that I'm not going to be engaged with. So you guys can plan whatever. I'll just be sitting here doing the tech.
Huh.
All right.
Unless Dr. Reef gets you to come, we'll see.
Well, maybe I'll go see the movie and never talk to you about it, or talk to
Oh,
the
God.
other people. That would be the true power move. No, I have seen the movie. I have strong opinions, but I'm not going to say any of them to you or to any of the listeners.
I would be very annoyed about that. All right.
Hey, as always, everything we do is under the banner of Sonic Stadium. You can check it out over at sonicstadium.org. We are one of the internet's oldest Sonic fan communities. We've got forums, we've got a Discord, we've got news coverage, including all of the stories we talked about tonight. We are also having we'll call it slow, tenuous move for our socials over to Blue Sky. You can check us out over at I think it's at sonicstadium.org on Blue Sky or something. I can't remember if it's just at Sonic Stadium or at sonicstadium.org. It's one of those two. Blue Sky has a search thing. Just search Sonic Stadium, you'll find it.
We're sonicstadium.org.
Yep. I am the Spin Dash over on Blue Sky. Do you either of you guys want to share?
Nuckles87, I guess.
Yep. And Shigs, do you have anything you want to talk about before we go? Or do you just want to
No,
be free?
I'm good.
Shall we free you from your news prison?
Dinner time.
Cool.
Yeah, it's dinner time for me.
Okay, until next time.
Hey, peace, everyone.
See you later.